Hello, everyone. It's Veronica Bartolini with CodeBreakerRealTalk. And today I have a very special guest, Tom Althouse. He's awesome. I have my co-host, Chad, Cooper, Corey, Miceli, and Rubberstarlet. My super soldier friends, my starseed friends, welcome. Tom, how are you doing today?
I am just beaming. I love it. I mean, this is amazing. Everything's been taken from me, everything done under the sun. But I want the world to know that life is great. It's amazing. It starts inside of you. And then what you do is you just shed that light and you create the universe you want basically around you. And that's why the work I wrote, they say it actually conditioned our world now. So I'm living in a world where I wrote something where people like myself would fit. And now we're in that.
I love it. I was looking for my family because I'm always thinking, well, I'm a misfit. I never fit in as a child, you know. I'm a music person, you know. I know how to write music, transpose music. I was in the Philharmonic Orchestra of Tucson, mariachi. I wanted to be an actor, you know. I took modeling classes, all that, lived in Hollywood. And I'm like, everything as yourself was taken away from me too. You know, I died in the hospital 3 days. I was there for a month and a half. And I was disowned. I'm like, well, where's my family? And then I finally had my awakening, the grand awakening in 2017. And I started looking for my family. I know that I served in the secret space program. I know that I was taken at 1 year and 8 months. And then I started meeting friends and I said, you know, I feel like I belong to someone. And yes, there has been a lot of backstabbers around the bend there, but we're not gonna stop, you know, and they keep sending these energy weapons thinking that I'm gonna break, and we're not. We're all here and we're a family now. And this is a place, I created a place where it's safe and it's love. And you know what? We're here for the future, for the children. We're here for them to get up and you know, they don't have to be feeling like they're misfits anymore. You know, they got up.
No, that's one of the main things too that I'm concerned about is that, and I get a lot of flack for this sometimes, but I say, I don't want my last surviving child thinking that he was born sinful or bad. No, why can't we tell our children they're born brilliant and beautiful? Why do we start them out in life saying that they were born evil and sinful and this kind of stuff? And you're already at a loss from the start? Well, way to blow creativity. I'm sorry, but that's my feeling.
Right. No, when my kids were small, I've always, even to this day, I tell them, you are so beautiful and you are so smart inside and out. You can do everything that anybody else can, but you can do it better. Because you know what? I grew up with a family that was always, you're this and you're that, and you're not good at this. And I grew up like having to lie, don't lie, you know, these handlers, you know, and of course my mother was my handler and other situations. So it's like, you know, teachers, even Chad and I, we were talking the other day. Some teachers, they're like, you're never going to do this or you're never going to do that. And then other teachers, they're just like, wonderful. They believe in you. So you kind of grow up.
But they all teach us something.
Say again?
But they all teach us something.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. One way or another.
Yeah. And we got to find out who we are. We got to, you know, unchain our soul, our hearts, and unmask our souls and face ourselves in the mirror every day and say, I love you. I got you. Here's a high five. Here's a high 10. You know, we got this. That's we got to keep going. So,
you know, yeah, artists are actually leading the way. Musicians too. Music is a big part of my story too. And one of the things the other side's really concerned about. We have constructs and things given to us when we're born, on the way up through education, things like this, things that need to disappear. We have to deconstruct these constructs in order to be really creative. And I think creative beings, creative souls and beings are the ones that are leading the way for the change that's needed, because they're saying, we're not going to be restricted this way. We're not going to be boxed this way. We're not going to be conditioned this way. We're going to free up. And one of the things I'm going to point out, another condition just right now, and open a discussion, is that we're taught that certain ethnic groups are chosen races. Nazi Germany, Jewish, Zionist, come on. If we say anybody's a chosen race, then you automatically, psychologically, are going to start thinking you're better than other people. No one's better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it should be not you're told you're chosen races. You should be told, if you have compassion, creativity, you can lead the way. If you want to be on top, then do it through compassion with creativity. Lead that way, and we will be heading in a better world every time.
That's right. You know, and a lot of these, we'll say white NAZIs come from the Anunnaki and the Jahami. So the Jahami is like a form of the Anunnaki with the Alpha Draconis. So I recently gave a class on the bloodlines. And if you look up Ashiana Dean, she talks about all the races that have invaded, you know, Mother Earth. And it's like, we're here for such a time as this. We're not going to let that happen again. We're not going to let those entities win, because, you know, there's this new age movement that's going on. I don't know if you've heard, Tom, but it's like, oh, you know, the poles are shifting and Mother Earth is going to break in half, and half of this Earth is going to go to the new Earth, and half of it, I'm like, bull crap. They're not taking any of my Mother Earth. They're not taking any of my children or the blood, right? The bloodline. They're not taking any of our plants or animals or innocent beings. I'm done with that. You know, and there's this thing where, and it's also tied with the secret space program. That's why I don't agree with all of what they did with us or to us, for us, because they want us to fight for these entities that actually used us since we were kids, and we're done with that. So I have totally split down the middle the secret space program.
Oh yeah. No, it's like, it's weird. My life's been like a Forrest Gump life. I mean, each game players offer me the chair. Each of one that I have a card from the FBI that says, please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse while I was being groomed by Pat Robertson's religious right to be the face of the Christian coalition, that be his #1 man to misguide this world into following the evil guy. And it's like, I mean, Hollywood put out the chair, the Masons put out the chair, the CIA operatives with the Masons put out the chair.
Yep.
You know, this guy named Lauren Holberg and Paul on Maui in the Masons brought in and said, no bones about it. Exports, imports were CIA operatives. And we're going to release our book someday and our story. It's going to be amazing how we slept with dignitaries' wives. And by the way, we're really fans of your work. Make a difference. So the thing, like, I've been courted by all of them. And they always use this phrase, welcome to the elite. You're one of the elite now. And they add, don't try to make a difference. Don't try to make a difference.
Oh, Tom. Don't try and make a difference is one of the, okay, so there's an agent from DARPA that was sent to me 2 years ago saying, you got to stop talking. You know, nobody cares. And then he says, you know, you think that it's going to be us or the other alphabet soups, you know, trying to kill you. He says, it's going to be the people that you break bread with. And that,
Yes,
you know, you never know who, you just got to watch it. And
the whole program is based on buying off those closest to you and planning with you their own. And that's my life story. You know, I mean, look at Aiden, who my last surviving son was born to. A woman with a criminal record, had been in jail for prostitution and had outstanding warrants throughout our 11 years of marriage, and was struck after she threw our case and everything. And her landlord was the attorney they provided, who had a suspended license, so they threw our case right away. That's why when you look at Tom Althouse online, it says lost his case. The guy had a suspended license right from get-go. And here it is right here. Tony Rankin, ineligible to practice law. Suspended since 1990. Comes along in 2009, 10-year statute of limitations from 1999 for Matrix to 2009. Right on time to throw our case so nobody else could actually get us a legitimate case with due process. Throws it right away. His classmate is lead attorney from Warner Brothers, met at Disney. So the thing is, they provide your own wife when you're worth billions, but it draws all them in. My sister was bought by the FBI. Now
what did she do?
Well, here's the deal. She was like the weakest link in the 5 siblings. She was like not the brightest tool in the shed out of all of us. So she got psych, which I'm not a big fan of the psych field. I think that it's been now used by the deep state as a weapon. They now have police showing up with psych people to rubber stamp you with a 302, which means that you're going to be a mass murderer. All it takes is someone like a sibling that's bought, like my sister, and wait to hear what her rewards have been. Bought to say, oh yeah, Tom Althouse said, he told me all the time, called me all the time, like I would, last person on earth I call, and said he was suicidal, I'm going to shoot his son. Now she said I'm going to shoot her. That's all they needed to pull me out with a SWAT team. I never said it. I never called her, but it doesn't matter. And she is handled by Brian Fitzpatrick. Look him up. He is a lifelong FBI operative from Hollywood, California, Wilshire Boulevard offices, and Pennsylvania congressman who happened to come along right when my sister was being turned in 2016 to have black tie dinners through him. She gets them. Maid service, a mansion. She has top psych person in Pennsylvania, president of psych people in Pennsylvania. She gets to go to the Caribbean, New York, London, all these places. She gets to appear on the Jimmy Fallon show, CNN, owned by Warner Brothers, by the way. And what is she? An unlicensed elementary school counselor? Well, you got the riches.
She's
and
so
she is a
controlled.
nasty piece of work. So she is the one that they needed in-house to say, they think it out, they call it like the art of war. All my sister has to do working for this Brian Fitzpatrick, who disrupted Ukraine. FBI is not supposed to go overseas. They went over there and they sent him as an anti-corruption department. What's that? Well, that means they can guess on anything, right? You know, your sunglasses are on top of your head there. You're corruption. Yeah, we got to take you down, the anti-corruption department right there. You're wearing some kind of pendant. We don't know what it means. It looks like it's anti-American. We're going to, sorry, Chad, your anti-corruption bureau is all over you. And your hair, what are you doing? It looks too sexy. Anti-corruption. All right, so what we're doing here is, and I can't see your face, that's hiding, that's anti-corruption. So what we're doing is, it's like they can get you like a Kempetai in Japan. That's what they got set up. And so these guys are doing this thing where they disrupted Ukraine ahead of time by getting rid of the attorney general, equivalent, Shokin, destroying him because he wasn't doing enough for the FBI in America. What? So you disrupted a country's legal system, their government, and then you have this war with Russia and Ukraine? You guys orchestrated it.
Right, and there's something more going on too. Some of us some of us are still in the other dimensions. We're still in Ukraine, and I have many visions of what's going on there too. And I spoke to you a little bit about that the other day. But there is a Stargate that is close to I think it's the Caucasus Mountains, and so we're also, you know, there's invading territory there, and they just don't want people to know that either.
Ukraine is dynamic. It has a lot of activity there, a lot of interesting things going on in Ukraine. It is fascinating. What a history too. So beautiful people. And it is a staging ground for this thing to distract the world so you don't see what's really coming. It happens to be that since I was groomed by the inside, every single one of these factions, including Disney and Warner Brothers, you name it, since I was groomed by all of them, they share things while they're grooming you. When they pulled the chair out and invite you to dinner, I actually had dinner with the FBI heads. And they had me have dinner. That's when I did America's Most Wanted with the Walsh Group. And it was their season premiere. And we did this Robert Witt program. You can see me playing Robert Witt. They take me to dinner, give me the card, all that kind of stuff, and flattered. And the thing is, like, yeah, you can check it online. And the thing is, like, I was their bloodline. I was their look. Look at me. I mean, it's like I'm, even at my age now, I'm made to be, they think, their guy. Right. You know, sense of humor, quick-witted, gifted genius, bloodlines that go back to royalty in Switzerland. 1066, the Battle of Hastings, my relative was knighted, Frampton was knighted by William the Conqueror at that battle, pivotal time in history, the elite really make a big deal about. My bloodlines go back to the line of David. Yeah, so I am totally what they want. I'm their composite. Right. And so I happen to write.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're pretty much the originals, or what they call the blue blood. The blue blood is the O negative, and the O negative is specific to having both X and Y chromosomes. So imagine that. They can make all kinds of different of us, and we have all these abilities. And so
they're fascinated by you. They're fascinated by us. It's really so. And they pull the chair out and they do a big to-do. They do a big to-do. The best show up. They always say, like I said, they always say, you're one of the elite now. You're one of the elite now. But you have to pay.
By me too. Yeah. That agent that I was talking about, you know, he says I could be paying you a lot of money for you to be training the Afghanistan soldiers that are coming in, you know, here to Arizona to train in other places, even Florida. So remember we talked about that person the other day. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that people are not aware of it.
I don't understand. They don't understand about sex trafficking. Mm-hmm. Why that's part of this whole thing. I have been offered wives along with the positions offered. They don't want to take a chance that you're mismatched in a public image sense.
Exactly.
So they cast it like you're casting a show. Think of it. They just cast it like you're casting a show. So these women will show up, and they've been programmed at University of Berkeley, one of them, and the honeypot wife. She had been in the sex things, a terrible sex thing. She wouldn't even talk about it. Of course, she's doing a job. But the thing is, like, these guys are sending people through sex trafficking.
Yes.
So when the children are old enough, they then have to play other roles, such as get with dignitaries. This is happening. This is happening. And these people they say they don't even know who they are.
You know what I call it is, I call it the CIA love bite, because I've been sent, and Chad, you know, so many men to distract me from what I'm doing. they promise me, oh, I'm gonna buy you this, I'm gonna, you know, you can go here and I'll buy you a mansion, a ranch, you know, your own property, all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna sell my soul. I can't. You know, I would not marry anybody else ever in my life unless it was for love. I've been offered so many things. And then, you know, some of them are given $3,000 from a Chase account bank, which has to go back, it goes back to the Zim dollars, the gold, you know, bricks, I guess you can say, from Iraq and Iran. I'm bringing this up because I'm not going to say any names, but there's specific times, last year twice, it happened, 3 times it happened. And one person, that's right after I did the Las Vegas show in March for Super Soldiers, I was told, hey, you know, let's go and invest in Zim dollars. And that, you know, we're going to make a school for children, and you're going to be like, you're going to help me with the one in Arizona, and, you know, you can travel to the one in California, Texas. He wanted to open up like 4 schools for the children that are being rescued right now, that we have been rescuing under the dumps. And it's like, he wanted me to come up with the program for the kids, you know, and how are we going to bring them up if they've been under in closed doors? How are they're going to be sensitive to the sun? You know, we need special glasses. I told him I did everything from music, you know, math, creativity, art, everything. I said, I got it. We got this. And it was just all fake. It was fake. They were just using me he was just using me for my abilities. The other man too. That one was given $3,000 by Chase to spend, but of course he didn't spend it all. And then he said that I was emptying his account. I'm like, no, dude, you only fed me once a day. You know, and you fall for this because you think, well, maybe we're supposed to have the twin flame scenario to help you with the mission, but some of us are here alone, having to do this alone. Go ahead, Chet.
I want to check in too, because like I wonder how familiar Tom is like with your backstory, or like mine a little bit, like because I grew up in an area here in California. I'm in it now, Audubon Hills, Placerville and stuff, where I suspect a lot of behavior or things happen behind the scenes. I have missing time between age 5 and 10, and I was told I was used in those years. That's when I was at my prime, and then they stopped using me after 15, and it makes sense. So I've been always trying to recollect those memories that was erased. You know, they're using technologies. I have memories of being in New York at the age of 5, and no reason to have a memory of being in New York at the age of 5 when you live on the West Coast and you're a child in the 70s. You know, it's just, I had no idea what New York looked like. So I was used in these programs, I believed, behind the scenes. They have time reversal, they have cloning technology, they have all the things to erase your memory and plug you back into your life without you even knowing.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't come to realization of this until much later, listening to Veronica's stories and others and piecing it together. You know, I still need to go in for some regressions to have memory and stuff brought back. But what we're finding out is people are going through MRIs and their memories are coming forward. So there's a lot of people that are waking up. Veronica's really good at netting these people. She's heart forward, and that's why I'm with her. But because there is a community online right now that we kind of suspect what is going on. One person was activated. I kind of call her the monkfish. I see the little light in front of the mouth, and I wonder what they're doing, because they're calling us out. They're luring us forward, and they're putting their stories, and we're all resonating with it. We're saying that resonates with me. That explains with me. But I think what they're doing is they're calling us out.
Yes.
You know, and into the woodwork and stuff. So we're trying to figure things out a little bit. You seem to have some visions of what's happening, going on right now that correlate with Veronica, you know, and that's what we're all doing, is discussing and trying to see, are they luring us out for something? Is there some kind of code word they can use on us? Because we're all MK Ultra. That would turn us into a little army, because we're all madly trying to deprogram, detoxify, and you know, that's why we all connect.
Remember the
We
script
support ourselves through this. But that's our story.
Yeah, the script I held up has the Neuralink. They gave it to Elon Musk. He was crafted by Warner Brothers in Hollywood. So Elon Musk is not a genius.
No.
Okay, thank you.
But he is somebody who's the face of the work being stolen, just like the Wachowskis are. They make everything in-house. In fact, you can tell because Warner Brothers has Elon Musk show up in Iron Man 2, for no reason to propel the story.
Oh
all
my
along.
gosh, he's trying to sell us telepathy. We already have telepathy. What is
He is giving you, he can't even explain Neuralink in a discussion on the air. He looks like a doofus. He cannot explain it at all. It drives me crazy because it's all through the script. Ramifications pro and con. Great for Alzheimer's patients, bad for collective programming. And the thing is, like, you can erase memories. If you become dependent on the Neuralink, as in the screenplay, as my main character does, when it's pulled, you lose all your memories because memory is a discipline. You have to learn to work that muscle. So if it's pulled, they have a way of ripping you apart. Plus, they can put inputs, mass inputs all at once, where suddenly people can, and how are you going to control your world? Nothing's sacred, nothing's silent, nothing's private anymore. So the idea that was positive was also, besides Alzheimer's patients getting to have vibrant lives continuing, you also have libraries of memories. You can live your relatives' memories. There's a lot of good things they don't talk about, the good things often. They don't, but they don't talk about really bad things either. So Elon Musk will gloss it over every time he gets on. He has no idea what he's talking about the tech I was channeled through to give. He doesn't understand it at all. Drives me crazy. So he divided up everything that I had and gave it to these different players. It's incredible. You even have a guy named John Rappaport out in California. You wouldn't be living well-groomed with your wife in Hollywood Lion's Den if they were actually, if you weren't allowing you to do it, because he is actually claiming every concept I have in my screenplay, and even says he does tours and lectures explaining the Matrix for like $400 a pop. He's just taking my work. He even said Robertson's going to simulate the second coming. That's from my work too, and I said that because I was with Robertson's group. But he claims that I just got that idea out of nowhere. It just came.
Well, I have the same vision. They're going to put up either, and they disrupted my feed when I was doing this live the other day, but when I said, they're either going to put an Archangel Michael or a Mary, Virgin Mary up in the sky there with the fake alien invasion. And of course, there's going to be their technology, which is actually the government's technology,
Right.
Or is it the 7 deadly sins they're going to recreate, the Red Sea and this?
Listen, I can tell you what's going to happen. I've been there. I know what's going to happen. Here's the plan.
That's what we wanted.
From the inside. I was groomed to be his #1 guy. Let me tell you his plan.
Tell us.
His think tank actually told me, I think it's recorded for the documentary, but it was on, I think I taped it. His think tank said this: the biggest problem they have is getting enough power up to the man-made mountain to have Robertson near be Christ when Christ returns to him. Here's the plan. Hollywood's backing, including Spielberg and the rest, are backing Robertson. They're going to recreate the second coming. That's what the end of the Matrix is. That third trilogy part, before they did 4 and screwed it all up anymore.
They screwed it up.
That's supposed to be where the identical figures are supposed to be the architect looking like Christ, because that balances the equation. It's drawn from Robertson's plans. What you'd have is an architect in an immortal program whose mind's lacking stimulation. He has these agents go and stir up trouble and all this kind of stuff, and allows Smith to actually be the mentor of Neo in the actual work. And then what happens is he does not allow to take each other out. That stimulates the architect's mind. Then he purges his agents and has the free people of Zion come out and see and come back as Christ. So he'll have the pure power of worship purging his agents, and he doesn't have to do anything. He is loved and honored and worshiped by the world according to Judeo-Christian programming, and therefore he has solved his problem of never being bored. Stimulation of the mind, never atrophies. That's how you balance the equation dealing with free will. The reason they have these field of pods, original work, the field of pods is supposed to be, it's not battery power, they're just mocking us through that. Yes, there's a field of pods in the original work preceding Matrix. Yes, that is there because the architect is bringing back his top 100 on test subjects called secondaries that match each of them physically exactly. Well, one at a time, spewing in these pods. That's what it's supposed to be. The Wachowskis lifted each image they thought was cool and twisted it, cheapened it, and ruined it. The train station scene is supposed to have liquid mirrors that if you take the red pill, you can pass through them. They're the security devices at the train station. They lift them out and put it into a separate scene with Morpheus being this idiot, handing out 2 hands like Alice in Wonderland, red pill, blue pill. That's stupid. And he puts his hand through the mirror. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about my work. Solomon's baby right here.
Yeah. So what the architect is Hitler, correct?
Yes, that's the only figure in history that makes it work. And I said he's the architect, so they call him the architect and then mock me for having him in there. Yeah. I did my homework. It's the only figure in history for us to understand that would have a mortal program, that would have Asians coming back in our time, that he wanted a 1,000-year Reich. It works.
Yes, yes.
Author. And then the only historic figure that works, that would come back, that we're supposed to give our free will over to, they babble about free will, guys. You know, how am I going to give the free will over to me? Is Christ. We're conditioned to give our free will over. That's what taught me in Sunday school. So the author said,
not
okay,
giving my free will away anymore.
doesn't it make sense? And now they're mocking me for having Christ and Hitler in it. That propels the story along. It makes sense to the audience. And that's what they're using to tear it down. No, that's not. Christ only appears at the end because the only figure that works, that we're conditioned to give over to. And they keep babbling and have that answer taken out. Yet get this. The Wachowskis on set and in interviews, you'll see it. They argued they want to keep the exact ending. Why? What exact ending? They said everybody on set said to blow it up. 128 pages right here, the same ending. Exact same ending, they keep it. It doesn't work if you tear out the relationships. You've got to put Neo and the daughter, his daughter, that the little girl at the train station reminds him of. You've got to have that in order to have a satisfying ending, whereas you're united with his daughter. But they take Neo out of that and put the Oracle hugging the little girl because they have to replace Christ. They put Neo replacing Christ, but it's like Neo would never die, but now he has to die because now he's replacing Christ with identical figures of the crater, which I have, exact ending. Pulse wave coming out, renewing the little girl from the train station. His daughter comes up, hugs him, and points to the sun. They kept the same ending. We've got them when we make the real film. Now, here's the other clincher. It reveals everything. Who is Neo in the original work? He's not a computer hacker. They are. In the original work, Neo is a lower echelon CIA operative head of a department. They don't want that because in mine, the CIA is bad. They don't want that. CIA works with Disney and makes sure they cleanse content. That's what they're doing for World War II, national security. So what happens is we have that being shown. And also it says that a one world society is coming and CIA will become central. And the Smith agent is one of the top CIA heads. They don't want that. Yeah. They don't want that because it's exactly what's happening. And those that were supposed to protect authors like yourself, right, Chad? Was this the FBI and CIA? They're actually found it was much more profitable, much more glamorous to screw the writers and protect the studio stealing the work. And they've done it ever since.
And that's what the FBI warning is about, you said, correct, in the beginning of the movies. Yeah.
They have it on the movies about piracy, things like that, and I'll take it. And Warner Bros. Had the audacity to tell me, well, we made it first. Yeah, you wrote it, you copyrighted it, but we made it first. We made it first, so we can own it. We made it first. Is that copyright? No.
So Tom, that's why I want to. Tom, that's what makes me nervous because I'm sitting here, like, for me, you understand multi-layered thinking because you have classes on it, but that's what we all do. And we have our own, you know, we've been in our own little bubbles growing up here so we have our own models of it in our own head, you know, and explanations, but I'm like, oh, I understand what he's saying, multi-layered thinking and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't want them to own anything. Well, the vision that was given to me was there was this Broadway guy. He said, just send me your script. Just send it, do it in 3 months and just send it to me. We'll finish it for you. I got a team that can finish it for you. We have this down. And I'm like, you know what? That's what I need to do. I already got the songs. Let me just get the script down. That's the easiest thing for me to write. So I got a vision. I'm sitting there in New York City, handing the guy the script behind a mahogany desk. He's this larger guy in a suit, gay, chubby, fat fuck. I'm just going to call him what he was, you know, and it has nothing to do with his weight or anything. He's just one of those fat fucks behind a mahogany desk in a suit, having me sign something. And as soon as I sign it, I knew. He led me behind the door, and there's these clear glass walls that I see with dentist chairs in them. And this is before I knew any of this stuff. This vision is as clear as can be. I seen his face on TV before one time, so I know I was given a vision. He takes a needle and shoves it in my hand to knock me out. And I just remember thinking to God, like, I wanted to get this story out to you. And so you take me from my body before this happens. You take me from my body before this happens. When I woke up, I was like, okay, that's why God doesn't want me to give this script over, you know, but I told him anyways, I'm going to do it anyways, because I want this story to get out. I don't care. And then I saw your story. And that's when your story got introduced to me. And I'm like, holy crap, this is okay. I'm not just imagining this. This is real, you know? So what my plan was, and this is what my thinking is, and this is where you're going to help me, maybe, hopefully, you know, if we can ever chat on the side or something, get connected to someone, because I intend to buy the land that my theater goes on. I intend to do the architecture in it. They're not putting any of their satanic shit in there. I can already think of my theater and how it's going to be shaped. I already know the technology I need in there on the stage. I already have the music written. I already have the lyrics down. I just need the script. I'm going to be writing the book that goes in the concession stand. So I'm going to be owning the land, the theater. They don't get anything of this project. It's mine and I'm protecting it. And I think that's important as an artist to protect your work. I mean, yeah, you have to reach out a little bit. The only way I can think to support this is to write the book first. So I'm skipping the music. I'm leaving the music on the side and the script, the easiest thing for me to write. And I'm writing my book, which is going to be about the witch. I'm going to write a book about the witch in the woods. I'm going to tell her story. And I'm going to talk about all the spiritual mapping and stuff that Jessica Jesse Zabater talks about and stuff. I'm putting that in the script and stuff so that as people read it, they can learn how to map out their own towns, right? And it tells the story of the town and witches and how things work. I plan to use that book as a sacrifice to make the money to get the theater going. But that's the rule. That's the game we got to play, because how else am I supposed to finance this above a friar? That's where the universe has me pinned right now. It's the exact antithesis of what I am.
That's right.
You know, I don't even eat fried food and they have me frying food for the public. It's like, this is not okay.
Right.
You know, so I started commanding, but that's where we are. I mean, I have the work. I just can't move forward with it, but I got to pick myself up by my own bootstraps to do this, because I'm not giving them any power.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the man I pitched it to, Bonaventura.
Okay. That looks like, okay, that looks kind of like the guy.
Oh, wow.
But he says in this, he says he shepherded and discovered the Matrix story.
Something like him.
He says he discovered and shepherded the Matrix story, one of the few that understood it. Yeah, I pitched it to him. He had my screenplay. He gave it to the Wachowskis.
Who are the Wachowskis? Who are the Wachowskis? Because you mentioned them, and a lot of people are like, who are they? I don't know. Let me ask.
That's an interesting story. Is they were failed, dropped out of school, failed in their painting business. They're from Chicago, and their mom said all I did was replay comic books, and they were sci-fi groupies. And so Warner Brothers, what they do is they have a system of taking D players, failed players. They call them D players. White House call them D players, and they're allowed to make it in the business because they can't make it on their merits. In fact, the Wachowskis had an article in 1995 that said that they failed as writers in Hollywood. They'd have to pack their bags. Quote. So unless they're given something to direct, they would have to leave. And they wanted the science project, they said, my work. And so what's interesting is that's why they stuck all my stats, my high school, my birthday, my name, it's all in the first graphic. It's all in there, upside down for a split second. We got them in a fair venue. And now fraud has no statute of limitations. So after the documentary, we're going to nail these guys. And then we're actually going to give the public rights to my work. We're going to give every man, woman, and child that wasn't part of the theft ownership of my screenplay, The Matrix Story. You'll all own it. I want you to do derivatives if you want to. Any child can do derivatives. That's how you inspire creativity, not this selfish greed stuff. If you're actually a good writer, you're going to write to inspire a world, to lift people, to make them think and rethink, and to get them spurred on. You're not going to be doing it so you can, what did Dean Laurentiis say to the Wachowskis? What did Dean Laurentiis say, the guy who claims still at Warner Brothers? In fact, look at this. The Wachowskis, Dean Laurentiis, Paradise Films, Dean Laurentiis, Paradise Films, under Assassins. Assassins, Copyright Office entry. Dean Laurentiis, Paradise Films, Wachowskis, Larry Wachowski, and Wachowski. They're the ones that were given that test assignment to see if they could do it. They failed. They had to bring another writer in. So what did he do? What did Dean Laurentiis do? Remember Dean Laurentiis, Paradise Films? Well, here he's again. Paradise Films, Dean Laurentiis, and his Starling Productions and Laurentiis Productions. He piles it onto this one. Is this Assassins? It's The Immortals.
That's yours.
It's my title. It's mine. With no body of work, just titles. 343 titles at the Copyright Office. With Dean Laurentiis, who's this guy? Well, let's take a look.
So they stole your work and then took it to legal, to court?
They have insiders at the Copyright Office. They can create slots by having no body of work and just copyright titles to create slots to put in the work of stolen writers. That's what's going on. That's why you can't go through the Copyright Office to protect your work. As soon as you put it in the Copyright Office, they've got it. They've got copies of it. And they will rearrange it. Now, keep in mind, the attorney with a suspended license. Let's finish this thought. Remember this guy ineligible to practice law, not eligible to practice law through our case, who was classmates with Warner Bros. Attorneys? He said that in the copyright office, I would find only 8 pages of scribbled notes. So we beat him to the punch. We knew they're going to switch it out. They had insiders. 128 pages of gold, copyrighted and sealed by the director and specialist. They cannot win at all. Train station scene, Squiddies, Jackson Neck, Neuralink, everything.
The music.
Figures at the end.
Look
Everything's
at the bottom. It has the bottom stamp for the music. What year is that?
December 22nd, 1998. This is the version used on set in 1999. They couldn't even wait. And get this, that attorney who threw our case that was unlicensed, right? They hate me putting this up. Tony Rankin on Maui, classmates, went to University of Berkeley with Linda Burrow from Warner Brothers, not eligible to practice law since 1990. At the statute of limitations of 1999, comes forward to make sure our case is thrown so nobody else can handle it. And what else did they want? They wanted the music. We got email after email saying, where's your music? We need to see the music. He destroys all copies. My mom had the copies. We've got original music that went. They're very afraid. Why are they afraid of this music?
So awesome.
This original music's in the heart starting scene where Neo restarts Trinity's heart.
That's my favorite scene.
Well, there it is.
You know, when the guy, that big white dude, he said he's supposedly source. That's why I tell people.
Oh, the architect
go
guy?
Beyond, right. Go beyond source, guys. People are saying, oh, we come from source. No, we go beyond source because source was already taken over.
Well, they were making it up as they went along. They made it up as they went along, Veronica. It's like what they did was they had this. This is what I explained. This is from the fight choreographer from the set. He told me this was in hand. Every fan knows of the work that was a 600-page storyboard. They lifted every image they thought was cool. Look at all the tabs. Every image they thought was cool was lifted so they can take credit of it first, including train station scene, liquid mirrors, robot-like agents, room of monitors, silver pen, architect, dental figures facing off, a little girl with a family with liquid mirrors with a security device. It's all there. So they used everything possible to take credit for it. Didn't care if it makes sense to audiences, save their career.
I have a question. A lot of people ask me, so who's the Oracle? Why did they have her in there? You know,
it's not Sophia Stewart. The Oracle, what they did was they brought Sophia Stewart out of USC as a first claimant. She contacted me right away to handle me. And she has a company called All Eyes on Me. That is not a company I would choose. She's calling me an egomaniac. All Eyes on Me, that's your company? Failed writer who did a 33-page manuscript, 33 pages, called The Third Eye. Nothing to do with Matrix, nothing to do with my script, but it is the Bible and Star Wars blended. That's bastardizing two major things. Major things. That's what it is, the Bible and Star Wars. And it's only 33 pages. It's not a screenplay. She's an in-house claimant for Warner Brothers because people are supposed to think the first claimant must be true. Let me tell you, the first claimant comes from their side. They're the first ones to know it's stolen. The writer who actually did it is the last person to know it's stolen. So that's supposed to convince audiences that, well, Tom's too late. Why didn't he come forward before Sophia Stewart? Because the people who stole it made her to be that. And the way they were trying to prove that she's the one, they made the Oracle look like her when they shot the film because that's what they had in plan. It doesn't mean she wrote it.
I saw that.
House. You know what the Oracle's supposed to look like? Chad. The Oracle's supposed to be a white guy. That's why I didn't do it because I was trying to be racist or anything. I was just, that's what I came to mind. A white guy. Why did I want a white guy to be the Oracle? Because that's who these organizations were trying to groom to be in positions like myself.
I want to ask you so many questions, Tom. One,
Please do. I love talking about the work because now I get to.
Thank you. There's so many questions. Okay. Going back really quick to the Elon Musk thing, the reason why they're putting this up is because they're building PDRs. We have all of our life in Google. I'm going to give a class on artificial intelligence part 2. Google, you know, they have your itinerary, your travel itinerary, when you're going to go to the gym, you know, it's all tied into the G Mafia, Google Mafia. Also, whatever you put on Facebook is being recorded. They're PDRs. IBM owns your medical stuff, you know, who you'd go to the doctor to. All this stuff is being sold in the stock market, just like our blood is, like when you go do DNA testing. So this whole thing of Elon Musk thing is going up because you're right. They want to take our telepathy by having us addicted to these phones and social media. Because why? You don't want to think, you're bored, let's watch a movie. let's take a selfie. What am I gonna do? Okay, let me post this.
Distraction,
Let me post that.
distraction.
It's ridiculous. They want to take our telepathy away. So then later on, right, they take all of our stuff, sell it in the stock market, make these, they can already tell your biometrics. They can pretty much read your mind. So then they make a little chip out of you, a little avatar. They put you on a map and then they play you. And I call it the God Wars, right? So a question that I have is, were you going back to the Montauk program and the Project Mannequin? Do you ever have any memories of being an assassin, or were you in the sex kitten program?
I was part of the sex trafficking situation, but here's the deal. I'm supposed to be aware of every moment of my life so I can suffer with my empathy, watching others be reprogrammed, that nobody will understand what I'm talking about or come to my aid, but I'll watch them suffer and die. That's my punishment for not taking the chair and being offered elite status. They want me wide awake and watching everything happen, including the death of my sons, and being told about it. They want me to be a witness to the people I can't help because I care about people and I care about all life. They want me to watch it all die. They want me as a novelty in the New World Order with the 1% surviving.
When did you know that they were grooming you for this? Were you aware, or did you have an awakening? And why did they kill your sons? I'm so sorry about that. That just gets to me. It's like, why?
Because I whispered through art. I told what Robertson's plans were connected to Disney and these agencies, and you name it, every player came out of the woodwork. And they told me that if I said anything, I better not say anything, or else, they said. They said that I would be shot, that they wouldn't be their people, it'd be these other people that would shoot me. That's it. Well, you're saying I'm going to be shot. You're the ones making the threat, Robertson's group. And so what's going on is they decided this. It's caveman mentality. They decided the best thing to do is take what is most cherished from you. Remember that graphic I talked about in the Matrix? The first graphic in the Matrix is the interrogation scene. Consequently, the first scene I wrote was the interrogation scene. And in the interrogation scene, they have a graphic being shown. It's on the table. It's open for a split second, that green folder. It's on redpillrising.org. You can see the exact graphic. In that graphic is what? In that graphic, where's my baby? Where's my baby? Right here. Okay, here we go. What you're going to see in the first graphic ever by the Wachowskis, where they say every cell is by their doing, is my high school, Central West High. Neos goes to Central West High. Now, what else is in there? Thomas A. First of all, Chad, I think you'd know this. As a screenwriter, you don't put multiple names for your lead character. It confuses the audience. Why would you name them multiple names? That's writing 101. That's writing 101. You do not use multiple names. But Wachowski's had to rub it home on the author. And the insider who told me from the story department called me and told me this. He hates the Wachowskis. Said they're arrogant. He says it's common knowledge your work was stolen, so we're telling you this. And he told me that, yes, look at this page. Look at this first graphic in the Matrix. I would never have seen it since for a split second upside down. I wouldn't know to look there. And there's my high school. There's my name, Thomas A. Anderson. Anderson is my Scottish clan name. There's my dad's name, John A., as Neo's dad. There on the top is July 22nd, which my birthday, according to USA Insurance, Federal Insurance, is that in 1996 and 1999, my birthday was listed as July 22nd. It's right there. In the column, it says TA 4099. TA was 4099. And then it says 380. They claim they're in the numerology. 380 is to take away your most cherished worldly possessions to prepare you for your death. That's what they were doing. So they take my sons, not just my intellectual property, my sons. Keep in mind, they said all the time, Hollywood's language, they're going to destroy you. We're going to destroy you. That's what they say. I didn't realize what destroy meant in Hollywood terms. And so what happens is they wanted me to witness the death of my most cherished loved ones and the buying off of my most dearest loved ones, like my sister bought off, my brother bought off by Disney and them and Fitzpatrick. And so I'm supposed to witness all this. A honeypot wife that sleeps with who? Who did the honeypot wife sleep with and leave me on my birthday and leave Aiden, our son, to me? His mom deserts him. Criminal record, prostitution, having affairs, all that stuff. Mike Lang of Disney. Mike Lang of Disney, the very man who was put in place to take the work in 1993 when my work was submitted by James Boyd in Norfolk through Bonaventure's directions, is the one that takes her back in 2016 when her case is thrown and has done her work as a honeypot wife. She goes back on my birthday. We find the emails. We're wondering, where's Becca? Where's Becca? On the emails, it says, Mike Lang, Z at Zion. Becca moved in with me for 60 days. Shows a bed with a shaving kit, Spokane, Washington. Lang's on Howard, Big Al out front. Picture of that and the bed and the shaving kit on an unfurnished facility that he bought, which is multi-million. That is what they do. Take your wives to bed, kill your men, your sons, and that is the caveman mentality. Now, I asked a contact, it's on tape for the documentary. Why would Mike Lang do this? He just made a trail all the way back to Disney. Now we know that Disney and Robertson had a sex ring. Yes, it's all connected. Thanks to Mike Lang. Why did he do it? The answer was his ego. Now Mike Lang's in trouble. Mike Lang broke the rules of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. You don't make a trail back to Disney. You don't reveal the cabal. You don't make a trail. His ego is why he slept with the honeypot wife and took her on my birthday. That's his ego. He thinks that makes him better than the author who wrote the Matrix story. Actually, you just opened it up for us all, for all of us. My intention is to help free every child and to help every life that matters on this planet. And that does not include the ones that stole the work and did these sex trafficking. They're not included anymore in my formula. So that's what matters to me. You take away a prostitute at a criminal record that fooled and snowed me and threw everything away, and you think I'm going to be affected by you sleeping with her, you just revealed the whole Disney trail. Now that honeypot wife called me recently. All the players are coming forward, guys. All the players and gals, all the players are coming forward now, wanting to be on the winning team, they said. So the honeypot wife called me. Yeah, the honeypot wife Zoomed me just recently. And keep in mind, it's on tape for the documentary also. Disney's contact saying, Tom Althouse, you've won the chess game. You survived. So I wasn't reprogrammed. I was supposed to watch all of you suffer. You weren't supposed to believe me. You weren't supposed to hear me. And I have a heart for humanity in all life. So I'm supposed to suffer like an architect who can't help everybody.
What did you do to change that? What happened? Because I mean, I'd imagine you were in a corner at some point and feeling like
death threatened, hauled off 6 times by SWAT teams on a false Rio.
And you did what action did you decide to fight back
Here's
with?
what I did. I let Disney know this. I had a call with Bob Iger got fired. That was right after his top guy with 20 minutes on the phone said that Bob Iger wants to talk to you, wants to talk a possible deal on tape for the documentary. So when I announced that on the show that night that Bob Iger is going to be talking to me and that there was a sex ring between Disney and Warner Brothers, guess what happened? Bob Iger got fired the next day. And they did an article about the lower echelon pedophiles, but they didn't talk about the middle and upper. So what's happening is there was a lot of broken furniture in that boardroom, I can assure you. Bob Iger jumped the gun, apparently. They still call me their star player on the bench. What did I do? I told Disney on the phone, the contacts, I said, I've got 14, 15 other screenplays. Let us see them. No. Let us see them. How do we know you have them? What do you think I've been doing since 1993? You know, if I wrote the Matrix story and I have it right here, if I've got the copyright right here and it precedes the Matrix and it's all in here from train station scenes to blue pill, red pill, everything's in here, Jackson Jack, everything else, then do you think I've been sitting on my butt for all these years? No, okay. So let us see them. No. Why not? Because if anything happens to my last loved ones or to me, I'll destroy the work. You can't do that. They said that. They had the audacity to say it. You can't do that. It's on the tape. You can't do that. What? And I said to him, I explained what compassion is, basically. I said, I do not want my work, already stolen work, and this other work I have better than the Matrix story in a world where my son doesn't exist because of you clowns. So if you harm my family again, that work disappears. And they shut the hell up. That's one of the ways they stopped. You have to understand the way they think. And they said, I checked it out through players. I said, why don't they understand about doing work that's benevolent and enriching audiences? And on the tape you hear, Tom, you have to understand it's all about power. It's all I understand. It's all about power. I said, what about power and compassion? What about, that's where your real creativity comes from. So I've been educating them at the same time. So Disney considers me their star player on the bench, quote, golden goose. And I'm supposed to watch a world fall. I'm supposed to watch all of you fall and die. And that's my hell and my punishment. That's why I'm alive. But I'm going to damn my hell to damnedest to try to make a difference. And as soon as smart people with critical thinking, not all are going to get it. You're going to watch trolls say things like, they're saying these now. These trolls are the last move they're doing. The trolls are the last ones on the battlefield. They're saying, look at Tom's eyes. You can see the evil. They're saying, my BS meter's going off the charts. Really? When you're looking at the facts, it goes off the charts? Wow. Heaven help your family if your BS meter works that way. And then another one was, well, Tom lisps, I can't understand anything he's saying. That's supposed to sway people. If you can't understand what I'm saying, then get on disability, because obviously you got a problem. Let me talk to the people that do understand. Then they say, he talks 100 miles a minute. I talk fast because I think fast. And that was a NASA scientist that called me and told me that. And I'm not going to slow down for people.
Right.
The people that I want to make a difference, the one I want to work with, are going to follow me and understand what I'm saying, and they can handle the speed.
Yep.
Because we don't have to work that way to make the problems and change.
Exactly. That's the way I think too. And you know, you were talking yesterday on the show about layered thinking, and I call it like the metaverse, the multiverse, because I've always thought about this since I was little. I've always thought this way. And they said, oh, slow down, you have ADHD. I'm like, I don't have ADHD. I'm just really, really smart. And I'm like, at a Mach 4 per second, whatever you want to go, thinking, you know. And when I met some of my super soldier family, because I've known them since I was a child in these programs, I finally met them. I met Susan and Frank, and we started crying and just talking over each other. We had 3 conversations going on, Tom, but all of us understood what we were saying.
That's
and
what happens.
we're telepathic.
That's what happens. Forget the niceties. That's what happens. Your minds are sharp and fast. And what does nature show us? That layered thinking is right, both in feelings, layered feelings, and layered thought, which doesn't allow us to be programmed. If we had layered thoughts, they have to concentrate on us focusing on one little beam, one little thing in order to reprogram us. If we're like this all the time.
That makes sense, Tom. I had to take dialectical behavioral therapy because they said I needed it, and also for the PTSD. And they said, when you're on the phone, you should be on the phone with someone, not folding the clothes or washing the dishes. And I'm like, why not? I was, you know, to be a police officer, you have to do that. You have to multi.
Intelligence. Your mind needs to be stimulated on multi-platforms. That is not crazy. And to feel things is dynamic. If we feel things, multiple feelings that are all positive, you watch children come up to you. They're drawn to you because they see in you dynamics and all positive. That's brilliant.
Okay, so Tom, I had this 15-year-old kid drive halfway across the state to come meet me when I was visiting with Veronica. We're not going to say his name because he's a little Neo and we're protecting him. He's multi-layered, but he had to come meet me, and he's aware of Veronica too. So there are those things out there.
Well, you know,
we're almost, I mean, Veronica was telling me the other day, she's like, Chad, I get so bored, I have to get up at night and read the dictionary and translate things and do the etymology. I said, I'm making up songs. I said, I'm walking my dog and making up songs. I said, they play this horrible music with me at work. And so I just do Weird Al Yankovic parodies to it because we can't stop.
Yeah, layered thinkers can't go to sleep. We're up creating outfit. It's genius. It's a genius level. And what's interesting is, what does nature show us that it's right? And what do we do to our poor kids? They go through adolescence. Now, why is adolescence there? Is that a mistake? All these parents and all these psych idiots. Sorry, I don't like the psych field at all. It is a weapon of the now time. Psych field should be dismantled and redone. They don't know what they're talking about. They're
there to make us mentally insane, and it don't exist. We're not mentally insane, and there aren't mental illnesses like that. No.
People can put you away on opinion, and they're idiots. They're good. Anyway, so here's the deal. We go through adolescence, and we tell our kids, you'll get through it. What? You'll just get through it. What? Adolescence, what happens? You feel all kinds of things at the same time. Is that just your body changing? No, it's preparing you for adulthood, a dynamic adulthood. If you're feeling a lot of things at once, that's nature's way of saying you're ready to be an adult now. You're going to feel all kinds of things, because if you can manage all those feelings, then you're going to be a dynamic soul, and you're going to be reaching people and doing amazing creativity. If you turn it to all, we should be telling our kids going through adolescence, turn it to all positive, work on all positive layers. Not think one thing at a time or feel one thing at a time or just get through it. It is a gift to shape you into a dynamic, charismatic individual that can create and connect on layers. And when relationships are done between layered people, it's like you feel everything at the same time, and you have the most amazing relationship on the planet.
Yes.
That's what it's supposed to be. And we're robbing the whole world of it. Why? Because we're afraid. If you show too many feelings, Corey, right? If you show too many feelings to me, whoa, Corey must be crazy. He's showing too many feelings. You better show one thing at a time so I feel safe around you, or you don't get the job.
Yeah.
You know,
cracks me up.
Right.
You know, Tom, too, the thing that cracks me up is like what your wife said, you know, why are you going to make the ending be compassionate towards the people when they wanted to make it look like we're all innately evil and stuff like that? They don't realize we are not weak. I am not weak. There is nothing weak about me. I don't understand how these people, I think they're brainwashed. Do they really believe it? I mean, I get that some of the others, you know, the ones that are, I don't know, there is a difference. Yeah.
Let me describe it for you.
There is the general public too. I do got to realize, I don't think they're weak, but
here's my thought as a
not.
fighter, Chad. You ready? Here's my thought. The reason these people are one layer, one level is because they embrace fear so much that it's like if you go into fear mode, these guys are afraid, from Joel Silver to the rest of Mike Lang to Harvey Weinstein, just so afraid, to Michael Eisner to Pat Robertson, so afraid. And they're afraid of women. They're afraid of women. If a woman puts them down, they are going to freak out and lose it. They don't want a woman because they think that women are property that's supposed to bolster their image. What did Robertson say on his program about Trump's wife? Man, you can tell he's successful. Look at his wife. What? Because she looks good. That's why he's successful. And then he said, she's so beautiful, she could turn a gay man straight. Yeah, well, that's a gay joke, Robertson. Way to go. You said a gay joke. Yeah, you're part of a gay sex ring. So what's going on here is, yeah, he is. And so what happened is we've got this idea where they're afraid all the time. Fear takes you down a narrow channel to a one layer level of thought. That's what fear does. It lasers you into a one level of thought and you're now a Robotron.
Yep.
What you are, lost your humanity. You are now so fearful. You're like, and these guys are insanely jealous. And what they say, they're afraid of our power, that we won the chess game.
Yeah.
They're afraid of those of us that are dynamic. And one of the reasons they're afraid of us for doing it is because we draw people.
Yeah. And we don't have that fear. I don't have that fear in me. I've never had fear. I'm fear of success a little bit. You know, I get that. I've had that kind of like drama, but no fear. I don't have fear.
And that goes.
But I do see it in the others. I understand what you're saying. It's all
well, here's the other part of it is we will never get bored. We may stay up late too creating, but we'll never get bored. Their fear is afraid of losing relation.
Oh.
That's why the drugs and all this other stuff and the going into depravity, sex rings, they need to be stimulated, need to feel they're better than others. That's one layer needs, not multi-layer needs.
Right. So the
They do
gambling.
very well.
Right, the gambling, and Pedalwood, Hollywood is good, for this. It's like the music, right? The movies, the strip clubs. They always want the reptilian mind always wants to have the sex, or partying or drinking all the time, and it's like, wait, if you just, because I did a video with Ryder Lee on sex and religion. We were talking about the sex gate. If you can hone into your sexual needs and not give away your kundalini, right? Your oils in your back, in your 33 vertebrae, if you stop falling into that temptation and go within and find out who the F you really are, how powerful you are, instead of giving away your power,
and have fun doing it. Have fun doing it. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your loved ones. And it's like, I know that Aiden can't be reprogrammed. They know that. They can't. He thinks in layers. And he is dynamic. He is doing the piano. He's doing the art. He's doing soccer. He's advanced classes in 10th grade. He was advanced classes taking college credit courses. And he's an A student, like a 4.0. He's unbelievable. And look at his background, what he's been through. I've seen his dad dragged off 6 times by the SWAT teams at night.
They call it the 302. What the heck? Because they put me in a psych ward too. And
302 is when they out your son, I believe. Or is that what you were saying? Right? 302 is when they decide to remove your child.
They claim that they need someone paid off for anybody in our country. Anybody in our country can be hauled off like this. All they need to do is have one of your people in your circle say, she's calling me all the time and saying she's suicidal and she's going to shoot somebody. Isn't it interesting? That's the 2 parameters. And they're saying those 2 parameters. It's the last person you'd ever call. I'll never call my sister. She's a trash bag. I would never call her. Why, if I was hurting, would I call her? Out of anybody on the planet, she's the last person. She does not matter in my life. She's the most rotten, evil person on the planet. I'm not going to call her. But she says I call her all the time. In fact, when Sean was killed, part of the playbook is this. Once they absorb person and approach them with, they call anonymouses. I know the whole playbook and the whole structure. Then what they do is they're supposed to cut you off. It's supposed to make you worry. What happened to our relationship? For 2 years, she's gone, right? Then when Sean's murdered, she calls me that very day. Now you would think it's for condolences, right? Now watch how these alphabet boys work when they get these people, and she's been given rewards. Even the floor of Congress, her pictures held up by Brian Fitzpatrick as a national treasure, basically on the floor of Congress after the failed 302 attempt. Because I was saying he was wasting taxpayers' money, so he gives her that reward. So much for the trips and everything. So what happens is she calls me and says this. I'm like, Julie, I'm so glad you called. I'm thinking condolences. My son just died. No condolences. Very cold witch-like voice goes like this. And she's supposed to be at her elementary school when she's doing this on the job with kids there. Tom, you've got to say you're angry. And you hear this man whispering, bipolar, suicidal. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what? Repeat it back to me. You're angry, bipolar, and suicidal. I'm like, who's the man whispering? She goes, that's students, that's children. Elementary school students? You're saying this in front of elementary school students at the school? You're saying this in front of those kids? You should be fired on the spot. But then she goes, you got to say this to me or we don't have a relationship. I said, Julie, we haven't had a relationship. What are you talking about? And then she goes like this. If you don't say you are these things, then you're saying I don't matter. I'm like, Julie, if that's the parameters, you don't matter. Because I love my life and I love my son. So what does she do when she gets off the phone? What do the guys have her do? She calls family and tells Fitzpatrick that I called her and said that I was those things all the time. We didn't talk to 2 years. That's how the game is played. What happens? The SWAT team shows up. They tell neighbors, you better get inside. You don't want to see this. This means blood. If they're telling neighbors, you better get inside. You don't want to see this. That means there's going to be blood shed. They've got automatic weapons, body armor, cameras on, dressed like they're dressed for the set of Navy SEALs. And they file in 5 of them. And I'm hauled off on her word. So that's how they play the game in this country. If they want what you have and you have the worth and you're not on their team, not part of their club, Robertson, FBI, CIA, Disney, you name it, Warner Brothers, Sony, then what they're going to do is they're going to have you gone in an instant and they feel the power. They can do it anytime they want. Well, we're hitting back. They want to know when the documentary is going to be released. We're saying we're not going to let you know. Because they hold their contingency together by telling them that they know everything that's going to happen, that they know it all. Well, you don't know this. You don't know it. So we're telling their contingency that they don't have the power. And they're already saying that we have the power. So we're going to win this hands down. Wait till you see everything that's going to come forward in the documentary and what we have, including what they just put in The Good Place not long ago. The Good Place. Their trolls are going nightmare on this one. And I think I sent you the things on that. You can see it. Okay, just real quick, okay? The play of the game is this. Now, their trolls are supposed to say this. Why would anybody be concerned about Tom Althouse? Why would they, he's an ego maniac. Why would they stick things in about him? Okay, first of all, Robertson picked the word egomaniac, narcissist right from the beginning. My kids were programmed with that. They're taken from me and programmed with that that's your dad is this. Why? Because they want to justify taking your work if they're caught. You're supposed to think, well, if the person's that evil, it's good to take away the things from evil people. So it's good you took it away. If he's a mass murderer, then you should take away the devices. In fact, Brian Fitzpatrick talks about in his Ukraine article, when he went over there, that they actually deal with taking intellectual property because they take away the power of terrorists to do wrongdoing. That's their justification for stealing the work and profiting off it. Isn't that interesting? So what happens is in The Good Place, in 2016, Sean's still alive. In 2020, he's already dead. In 2016, they shoot The Good Place, Universal Studios. That's where my work went to, Universal Studios, Disney, to Robertson's group, right to the head of the story departments. So what happens? In 2016, they make The Good Place. In it, they have an architect who has a silver pen, right? In a world where you can only go back and forth in the trains with the train station. Sound familiar? Yeah. In a world where you can only go back and forth with the train station. In a world where you can only go back in the train station. There you go. And a silver pen with an architect. Here you go. And so what happens is, what is the birthday of the lead character? Now, the character's name is Michael, who's asking. He's supposed to be the good place head, but it's actually the bad place. He's evil, remember? Now, Sophia Stewart calls me now and says I'm the evil one. She posts that, I'm the evil one now. First, I was only a footnote, and the Wachowskis put up me as a know-nothing hack in the papers. So it's going up. I'm increasing in status, apparently. So I was a know-nothing hack with the Wachowskis in the papers from TNZ, owned by Warner Brothers. Then Sophia Stewart said I'm just a footnote. And now Sophia Stewart says I'm the evil one. And they even came up with this whole prophecy pages made now, which says that my birthday is of the evil one, the morning star. Are you serious? You just made your own prophecy? And it says that Sophia Stewart's birthday is the gifted one, the gifted mother. Wow, guys. Okay. Wow. What year is this prophecy from? Is it Dead Sea Scrolls? No, it's I think it's 2021. Anyway, so here we go. Great prophecy. So we've got the situation where now I'm the evil one. So what is my son going to be? The head of the afterlife. This is written before he's killed and murdered. And I'm told he's murdered by a snowplow, which is the X-Files death. I'm told that too by contact. Get it? So what happens is he is murdered. They name the character Michael. His boss is Sean. My son's name is Sean Michael. Michael is telling the main character, what's your birthday? She says, October 14. That's Sean's birthday. What's the year? October 14, 1986. Well, that's not Sean's birthday. Then she's the next frame, it goes, wait a minute. I lie about my age. My year is 1982. Now you got it right. October 14, 1982 is when my son was born. The character's name is Michael, with Sean as the boss of the evil ones. My son's name was Sean Michael. Michael, Sean, Michael, October 14, 1982. Their trolls are now trying to say, it only takes 30 seconds to look up the two films and the book that was made. Really? You're amazing. Wow, that's pretty fast work. And also, October 14 was something that they had before attached to. Where's the year, guys? Where's the year, troll? October 14. Sure, that could be a lot of things. October 14, 1982. You're skipping that part. You're skipping that part. I'm so sick of trolls that in some of these things coming up, these shows I do co-host, I'm doing 10 minutes with trolls. I'm actually going to show these guys. People say ignore them. No. What they do is give you the clues, what the other side is most concerned about and worried about. I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them because they tell you what they're most concerned about. They're most concerned about what? Thank you, troll. October 14, 1982, The Good Place. Look it up. Architect's Silver Pen, train station, only way in and out. It even has Sean's favorite foods. Mocked. Hawaiian pizza, clam chowder fountain, and frozen yogurt. It's over. The game is over. What did Spielberg put in Minority Report? I just want to throw this out to you one more time and turn it back to you guys. Minority Report is about Tom Cruise playing a character. Okay, say Captain John Anderton. That's what the paper shows. Captain John Anderton. Captain is my dad's rank. John is my dad's birth name. Anderton is Anderson, my Scottish clan name, with a T to make Spielberg more clever than Wachowski's. Anderton. That's a great joke. Way to go. Why is Tom Cruise's character going to be 302'd, put away in stasis for a pre-crime? Because his son Sean's murdered. There you go. What did Spielberg do? He committed pre-crime. He made a movie about pre-crime before Sean is killed, saying Sean's going to die. And Tom Cruise's character, my dad's rank, my dad's name, my dad's Scottish clan name with me from the Matrix, obviously, is going to be put away in stasis with a 302 after Sean's murdered. After I'm murdered, they haul me off to a 302.
That's like the Scientology, Disney supposedly he has his body frozen,
He does, yeah.
It's just.
Is there any questions? Is there any questions about this? They're sticking this in. Saving Private Ryan. What does Spielberg do now? It's called Spielberg in the business. What does he do? Saving Private Ryan is fictitious names. So the sons that are murdered, the parent that lost multiple children, which they did to me, they tell me how they're murdered. Messianic death for Kirk. X-Files death for Sean. Snowplow. So what happens is they tell me what happens. The main characters that are killed, the sons that are lost, are Sean. Way to go, Spielberg. You can't let it go, can you? And Daniel. Well, Sean Michael, Sean, Kirk Daniel.
Wow.
So we put it in there. Now people are supposed to go, that's too much. I can't absorb that. No, that's too much. They wouldn't do that. Why would they put your stuff in? Answer, if my work is copyrighted, preceding the Matrix, was drawn and given to Bonaventura and submitted, worth billions, they said, do you not think they're going to mock the author in their works if they're also involved in sex trafficking and with children and things like this? No, they're not going to do it, Tom. They won't address you because we don't want you to be important, and that makes us upset. So we're not going to make you important because it draws attention to your actual story, and they'll finish the job, and you might win, and then we're going to go to jail. Yeah, that's that. You just spelled it out. That's how it's going to work. That's how we're going down. Yeah, nice time over.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy anymore. So yes, they would do it if you're worth billions, and yes, these guys would mock you. Believe me, they mock you.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't if I was the mailman, but yeah, if I'm the writer, they do.
Oh yeah. About them trolls. I get trolled all the time. I'm like, really? Thank you to my haters, because without my haters, I wouldn't be here.
They give you information. They give you information. That's why I'm going to use them. I have 10 minutes with trolls coming up on these different series now, because they give you what they're most afraid of. When Sophia Stewart calls me on the phone, one of the last times, they struck people's programs, their sites and everything. They were so upset about this word coming out at one point. Now they're too afraid to do it sometimes. So what happens is Sophia Stewart calls the day they're struck. Red Pill 78, Sarah Westall, Michael Jaco, they're all struck. And so she comes on the phone that very day and says, you know who this is? I said, no, you sound familiar. She didn't like that. It's All Eyes on Me is her company, right? Producer, writer, director. So anyway, so she says, Sophia Stewart. And then she goes on to say 3 points that they're most concerned about. Trolls do this. They tell you they're most concerned. She was supposed to handle me. Insider from USC for working for Warner Brothers. They draw D players from USC. No body of work, no script. And so what happens is she tells me, you can't make your movie. No, first she says, all these sites are being struck because of you. Well, thank God they had the courage to put it up there. It's out there now. And God bless them. You can't make your movie. If you do, there'll be an injunction. Well, Sophia, yeah. If they put an injunction on me, that has to be because there's similarities, right? Yeah. Well, then that means that we win our case. So let's put the injunction. We're going to make the movie as is. Then she goes, you can't have your court case. The judge ruled with whatever it's called, stupid frickin' Judge Klausner, who was appointed by Bush and Bush's dream team, Robertson's Law and Justice Center, first appointee to California courts for this very purpose, Art of War. They appointed Judge Klausner to make, what did Robertson say? Conservative decisions to counter liberal ones, not based on evidence, just so we can get more decisions in his favor, in place to throw the case. No big deal. But yes, we can, even if you rule with prejudice, because it's all fraud, no statute on fraud. We'll bring it forward. Yes, we can. She didn't know what to say. It's the first time I heard Sophia Stewart stop cursing and not able to say anything. And I just said, thanks for calling. And that was it.
That's funny that you mentioned Bush, because Bush is supposed to be alongside with Nike and the Germans and the NAZIs. And
Prescott Bush, yeah. Prescott Bush was
yeah, I mean, he was part of our programming. So it's, if people.
Do you know what the Nazis did? They made England and America the superpowers. They made our investors rich. They made our armament dealers, everything else. We made a fortune.
But now China's coming with their, facial recognition and G Mafia. And you don't think that US is also, correlating the drones and the spyware with China?
Well, that's the thing. China, these guys, you shouldn't think of it as nations. China's not against the US, the US not against China. This is a multi-planet of multi-billionaire guys in one club. It's a billionaires club. Forget about, we're already a one world society. China doesn't, look at your dishes. What does it say? Made in China. Look at everything you have, made in China. Do you think we're actually against China if we're buying everything from China?
Ever since I was a kid, I mean, even living in Mexico, it's made in China, made in China.
That's right. And what did Robinoff get? This is the guy who was at Warner Brothers during the shakeup, which Sophia Stewart called and said it's because of Utah. And they had the big shakeup at Warner Brothers. Where did he go? Where did Robinoff go, the head of Warner Brothers, when I came forward, and then Joel Silvergis take over and put Greg Silverman in charge? China. Robinoff goes to China on a 30-film deal. Do you think there's a problem with China and the US? No. It's a puppet show. It's a dog and pony show. In fact, they are working with Chinese soldiers to be the ones that are going to work with American military to make sure we're rounded up the ones that don't go to the stadium.
Yes. Okay. Chinese military and German military are underground in Mexico, and some people are just laughing at me like, "Oh, you don't."
Canada.
We own Germany. We own Germany. We own Germany.
There you go.
We use Germany as a buffer against communism because fascism is the worst enemy of communism. We put them in place. We stopped the trials, Nuremberg trials. We freed the people, and we Operation Paperclip them and everything else too that you don't even know about to bring them all in and use them for us.
Yeah.
And that's what's coming. You need to talk about the stadiums.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Happening.
Well, Tom, you said they didn't just project paperclip for the scientists. You said they project paperclipped for what? These stadiums.
Everybody,
and everything.
bureaucratic up, and to keep the industry rolling and everything, and be a buffer against the CIA's #1 counterpart is the CIA of Germany, called something different, Bundesstaat, whatever. But the thing is that is our creation. Secret military police in Germany are our creation.
Right.
They're
It used to be the
extensions of
OSI.
CIA Brotherhood. We own them.
OSS,
We own them.
OSI.
They're our buffer against communism, but they're also our excuse. Our country was so drunk on the success of the Nazis that we wanted to perfect it. It's all about power, they said, all about power. So here's the plan. We need to talk about this. The Wachowskis actually wanted to put the stadium into my work. The stadium's in here. That's where the people, the Oracle is supposed to work for the architect. It's supposed to be ambiguous, to bring the people out at the right time so they can see him come back as Christ, right? After he does his
I saw that. Yeah.
That's what's in here. Now, They're supposed to go to the stadium. The Wachowskis actually wanted to have the stadium, but it was too much over budget, so they couldn't do it. They were upset. They wanted to actually copy it that far. But here's the deal. And here's what we can do. This is very, very important for people to realize. Now, during New Orleans, it was the test run of it. Will people be gullible enough to go through this scenario where they'll be ushered to the stadiums and they'll turn on each other to prove that the lower classes?
Now go back real quick. Tell them that, because remember, they're
Wow.
going to put out, supposedly they're going to put out this statement on TV, on radio.
Yeah,
Go-
so here's what's going to happen.
There's
Here's what's going to happen.
food there.
Your disaster's going to come, right? It's going to be nationwide. New Orleans was a test subject thing. What's going to happen is they're going to make an announcement, go to the stadiums, go to the stadiums. It's all planned out, I know. At the stadiums, here's what transpires. The train station scene has a purpose. Listen to this. You go to the stadiums. Now, they're going to tell you at the stadiums, supplies aren't getting through. Whatever the nature of the disaster, we can't risk it. We can't get the supplies through. Hang tight. But what we will do is give you buses and trains and transport for your children.
That's where your buses come in, Veronica. With the
Remember,
orange
I had that
suits.
dream
These
about the
visions.
Watch what happens. Other
The
people are
buses
getting
with the
dream.
people
Yeah,
in the
people
orange
all over.
suits.
They
People
were
all
in
over.
orange. Oh my God, Tom. These people were in
We've
orange
seen these
suits,
visions.
and they were in yellow school
Yes,
buses. Oh my goodness.
yes. It's in the good place. In the good place, they wear their black and yellow stripes.
Yes.
Listen, it's all there. They want to brag through art first before they destroy the good people.
But see, I didn't
It's a-
see that in
no.
the good place. I thought
What
my
is the black and yellow stripe?
It's in the good place, along with Shawn Michael, October 14, 1982. It's all there. Train
I'll
station-
check it
train
out,
station,
but-
you can only
but-
go in and out the train station.
but
Now,
this
here's the
is-
deal. Let me finish this for
Yeah,
you. Finish what's going on, because you're going to probably get drawn in, probably excited, because other people are getting visions of stadiums and things like this. And they're telling me, this is what I know is coming. If this channel threw me and it's all correct, 99% right, maybe all, even the fake Oval Office is in the original work, predating Matrix, 1998 version. Here's what's coming. So why the Wachowski want the stadium. The stadium, okay, we have a nationwide situation. That means people are supposed to go to the stadiums. You get there and they say they're having trouble getting the supplies through. You're told that what we will do is send buses and trains to help you get your children out. Kindertransport, it's in my screenplay. They're only going to get certain children. There will be only enough room for some. They're going to do a thing where it's lottery or whatever, where it's going to get the ones they want, bloodlines, things like this, ones they want. And then they're going to have to cut it off. Not enough room for the rest, the ones they don't want. And they'll get on these buses. Now, World War II Germany did the same thing. They are then given to the elite for the New World Order and the cleansing, the harvest, I call it in the screenplay. And they will be raised up as their own because they match genetically what they want with the talents and attributes. That's the sad thing about it. So it's been done with World War II before. They did that with other Aryan-looking children, things like that. So now we go to the stadiums. So what happens to the rest of the people at the stadiums? The food never gets through. They turn on each other. And that's to prove all the rest of the elites see the people turning. It'll be televised. They're turning on each other, taking each other down. Innocent people, good people, torn apart by these thugs and crime going on. And we're supposed to realize how bad they really were. It's good we're shedding them. It's a good thing they're gone. And now the world will be a sustainable planet. The thing is this. Here's the deal. Everybody should be contacting officials, Pentagon, congressmen. Good luck with that. They're now FBI operatives, some of them. And do this. Ask them this question. Are stadiums going to be the place that we send people when the crisis occurs? Yes. Next question. Are those stadiums stocked with dry goods and supplies and foods and formula for the people when they go there for at least 3 months? No. Why? Because we didn't think you'd ask that question. That's the real answer. Another real answer is we don't want to, because we want to reduce the world's population and do the one world order and bring it in for solid. That's why elite have been disappearing. Keep this in mind too.
Oh yeah.
In the screenplay, the elite disappear, not because they're going to tribunals. No, it's not being done for you. They don't care about you. And they're really pissed at me because I'm telling you.
Yep.
They want me because of my mind and what I can create. And they want the other screenplays. So I found my ticket in, but I don't want to go without you guys. So I'm going to go down fighting for y'all. I'm going to do
staying
it.
here to fight.
Okay, so hold on, Tom. These people are not going to tribunals. That's great.
No,
Where
no,
did
they're
the
being,
children
set
go?
aside they're being set aside in resorts.
Where did the children go? That's what I'm curious about. Where did the
children are
children
being
go?
trafficked.
Some of the
being trafficked
children are
in the
being
program.
sent for the secret space program and sex trafficking in the
Listen.
Adrenochrome.
The children are being trafficked. Yes, you know where the red pill comes from? Let's just sidetrack and go back to this. The red pill and the blue pill. In the original screenplay, the blue pill is good. The red pill is bad. They, the ones that stole it, that I was warning you about, turned the red pill into good and made the blue pill bad. Now we know who's catching on and waking up in our world because they're saying they're blue pilled now. See, that shows that you've woken up. Red pill was the Hollywood pill, was the CIA pill, FBI pill. That's a stolen work pill. The actual pill's blue pill. Where's it come from? When I was writing, I needed a device. When I'm writing fast, it's flowing. I don't want to lose my train of thought when you're flowing, you know, right? As a screenwriter, you don't want to lose your flow when you're flowing. So I'm rolling and I need a device for my mind needs the answer. Your mind wants that answer to keep going. How do you get the program? I don't like shots. The little guy in me is like, the kid in me is like, I don't like shots. I never did. I hated shots. So what I did was, it's a pill. And instantly my mind in layers went to the blue eye. The blue is good. Everyone always said you have beautiful eyes. Robertson went in for the face of Christian Coalition, the blue eyes, that kind of thing. You know, high cheekbones, whatever, but the blue eyes. So the blue pill is right there. If you take the blue pill, you're looking through the author's eye and understanding what the author knows and sees and wants to share with you. That's the blue pill. The red pill was the bad pill. And it's not this. This is Alice in Wonderland. The Wachowskis made it up on set. Remember, this is in one hand. The story treatment, 600-page story treatment's in the other. They make it up as they go along. And they write the script after they shoot it. Their attorneys are on tape for the documentary. It's on for the documentary. We're going to use it. They said there's no working drafts whatsoever. They made it up as they went along. And so what happens is you have them mixing in things they're familiar with in their small minds. Listen to them on Bound in their interview with Bound. Look up Larry Wachowski, Bound interview. Watch how they talk. Tell me if they can write anything. And so this was Alice in Wonderland, Eat Me, Drink Me. They stuck that in when it's supposed to be the red pill is the only thing you're offered. Corey, if you're in the show, I offer you the red pill. If you don't take it, you and your family die. See? So that's what are you going to do? Either take the red pill. That's me being offered elite status. Welcome to the new world. It's a device where the immortal program, the longevity pill, is based on experiments by the blood of children and the growth hormones of adolescents in order to get the red. So when you take the red pill, that's what it represents. They are snowing you. The blue pill is the bootleg pill of the underground to allow you to have very painful side effects, but allows at least you, it's not perfected, but allows you to get into the program. So if you're going to suffer and take them down and take a risk infiltrating and make a difference for the loved ones in this world and the good of the children and free them, you're going to take a blue pill that's going to make you suffer. And what they say? Red pill. Now, the train station scene, child trafficking, they say in their fan page, it's just a subplot. Little girl's a subplot. No, it's not. It's integral to a satisfying ending. It's about sex trafficking and everything else. And it's telling you what's coming with these stadiums in the future. So what you have is, in that, they mixed in the train man from Ghost. He doesn't belong in the screenplay. This scene is, it doesn't belong in there. It ruins it. Why are you rehashing that, Wachowskis? Because we're making up as we go along and we don't understand it. So we don't understand the work. So we're going to stick the train man in. Yeah, that's cool. And then we're going to put, let's see, Alice in Wonderland. Let's stick Alice in Wonderland in. That's Wachowskis. They failed at every single thing they ever did. But then why did this man wine and dine him? Why does this man come along right here? I give you Dino Laurentiis of Paradise Films right there on the copyright. Why does he wine and dine them, guys? Why is he whining, dining them, promising them sex, with starlets, fame and fortune? And they don't have any body of work. They failed at painting. They dropped out of school. The mom said all they did was, so why are they having dinner with Dino Laurentiis? Because they needed an in-house claimant for Warner Brothers. And in they go. And they couldn't wait to get the work to steal it. That's why. And what's the last entry? The last entry, after we have Dean Laurentiis with his name on it and everything, on the Immortals, with all those subtitles that create slots, no body of work. I show up in 1996, July 7, 1996. I'm out there in Hollywood. July 7, 1996, Immortals, more subtitles. Dean Laurentiis disappears. And now it's under the investment firms. So the only ones that are claim ownership, is investment firms that wrote the screenplay.
And this is where George Michael ties in, correct?
Yes.
Tell me about George Michael. Tell me what happened with him, because supposedly he
was
the one that
killed.
Yeah.
Look at the end of the page. I'm going to show you right now. I want everybody to see this. This is why he's murdered. And what they say, it's in Black Sails. Black Sails says it, and this is what's really interesting. In Black Sails, you have my characters, Julie, Behringer. Behringer is a Smith character's name, Behringer. Julie represents Robertson. Boyd is the man who submitted the work. So if we look at this, Boyd is the man who submitted the work. Boyd and Boyd of Norfolk. So in the black sails, you have Boyd in there, fictitious name, my guy. You've got Behringer, which is what I call the Smith agent, as a pirate. And you've got Dooley, D-O-O-L-E-Y, as another pirate. Dooley is the character name I had for Robertson they cleansed out. And one more thing, go to the script, go to the last page. The last page, I'll be very careful with this. George Michael, Praying for Time, final credits, screen goes to black. George Michael saw this entire screenplay and greenlighted it for me to pitch it to Warner Brothers in 1993. He's a witness to the full work being done and completed. He's on the final credits. He said, yes, go with it. Look at the submission tape.
And that's where.
Submission tape. George Michael, Praying for Time, the actual copy.
So that's why they killed him.
That's why they killed him, because the Warner
Warner
Brothers attorneys used to be Sophia Stewart. They didn't want any scripts before 1996, original My Scripts witnessed, because the Wachowskis don't have anything on listed as Matrix until 1996. So if I've got scripts from 1993 listed, and I have a witness, a famous musician who I really admire, is a dear, dear person. I really enjoyed talking to him. He said yes to submission. He saw the full script. He's the best witness you could have for the work being done in 1993 completed.
You know what's weird is that Max Spears, my brother, my SSP brother, he was supposed to say something about George Michael.
George Michael, I'm putting him in a documentary. It's going to be a dedication to him.
Thank you.
And he made it possible. The songs are on here also. The opening, and you look at Praying for Time. They turned to what, to Rage the Machine? Praying for Time is the right ending credit music. What is the words George Michael so brilliantly, eloquently composed, put together? Things like this. God stopped keeping score. What is over there is over here. Charity is a thing you do twice a year. The red skies, the wounded skies above. Oh my God, it's all there, including Robinson's plan. It's all there. It's the perfect end credit music, and the Wachowskis ruined that. And then the opening music is Alan Parsons in the Lap of the Gods. There's a whole sequence that begins, and people are starting to argue with this, that something about Universal Studios did this first. They did not. Christopher Nolan got my work, Universal Studios work, in 1989 through Ned and Judy Nankovich. And we have the actual submission of these guys right here. We have the letterheads from the guys from Robertson's group that made sure in 1989 they got my script as it was being worked on. And that's where they got the idea of running your credits after you've already begun your film. So they do it all the time now on Netflix and Walking Dead, you name it. All these different programs will run the credits after the piece has started. So when you look into 10 minutes into the screenplay, on page 12, which is 12 minutes in, that's when you get your opening credits and the montage with George Michael, or in Lap of the Gods, Alan Parsons, which they cleared the music to be submitted in 93. So how do you kill a company? They can't do that. So what happens is that's now standard. Now they're starting to argue with trolls, you know, well, that was done at Universal Studios prior. No, it wasn't. It was done after I submitted, or it was submitted through Ned and Judy Nankovich to the story departments. Yeah, then they started doing it. So don't even go there. Don't even try. But that was the opening music. And that mix, the idea was this too, get this, guys. A montage of imagery that the audience is teased into thinking, how can this all tie together? Then you watch it unfold. That's what Walking Dead does. Gives you a montage of imagery. After you go into a series a bit, here goes the credits, montage, how will it tie together? That was what I did and decided, came through me. And then people do see it come together. And it's supposed to be something that seems implausible. How can Christ fit with a Holocaust, fit with a little girl with a doll, which Spielberg loved? Schindler's List, little girl in the red, Right from here, Spielberg. He got the work through his best friend, Peter, in 96 also, or 93. So what you got is the idea, he even used it. That's why he did Schindler's List. See? While Warner Brothers Diane Bells had the story department, she said nobody will be interested in Hitler, so they changed the name in my piece just to the architect. And also in The Good Place, that's to rub it in. And they're trying to snow the public saying, look, he said Hitler. That's supposed to make people turn off. Sure, it's a negative thing. It's the only historic figure that works. And is the Wachowskis doing you a service by just call it a generic name? Or would be a better service to the public to actually tie to somebody plausible in our history that would link up? Isn't that a little more intellectual? Why is that something bad? And now they're saying it's all about Hitler and Christ. Those are the only two figures that work really well. I'm doing this audience as a service by doing my homework to make it mesh together instead of saying they can figure it out for themselves. We'll just call me the architect. That's like me writing the piece where instead of Christ returns, some dude from heaven comes down shiny and makes it work. We'll call him dude from heaven. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough spoken. I haven't heard anything from you yet, Corey. So I'm gonna let you guys open it up, and Chad, you guys
Go
take
ahead.
it right now.
Yeah,
So
everybody else-
the answer is any questions. The thing is there any questions? And I mean that in a general sense to all the trolls and everything else, because they'll still come up with things like, looks like he dyes his hair. No, I don't dye my hair. What does that have to do with the critical evidence? And now they're using the phrase, with critical evidence, I can tell that he's a BS meter. What critical? What, you're just using the words, guys. Come on, give it up. You lost. Your bosses said we already won. Why even trying? Because they want to somehow score a hit, or they might get rewards like my sister got.
Mhm. I'll let the my co-host Corey and Rubberstarlet talk, and then I just, right before we end, I just want to go over the visions that I had that I had no idea that you already knew about, you know. And
Well,
so anyway,
real quick once again, contact officials and ask them if the stadium is where people are going to. They'll say yes, and then say, or they'll maybe try to dodge it now and say, I don't know. But if they say yes, is it stocked? Just say, is it stocked? You know?
Of course not, because the white hats are taking all the food for their bunkers. Anyway, let's go with Corey.
No, but isn't that a valid question?
It is.
You're gonna send people there, shouldn't you have it ready? They're gonna make the excuse, oh, the trucks couldn't get through, the disaster. It should be there right now. Right now. If that's your plan, FEMA, put it there now. Put it there now. Lives matter. Lives matter. And I'll just say it like that. There is no chosen. There is no one but everybody else. And why is it a problem to say that? Every life is important. Every ethnic group has done wrong things. Every ethnic group has done stellar things. Let's come together. We all come from the same father. We all come from the same family group out of Africa. So what? Let's start working together as good children in the sandbox. Let's stop tearing each other up because of what? Skin? What? What? I tried to explain that to my kid, that how ridiculous the concept is. And he was just like, this is stupid, Daddy. I'm like, yeah, it is stupid. Sorry, you can't have dinner with me. Your skin's a little too yellow. What? I'm going to catch something?
I know. It's
Oh my God. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, guys. I said
Go ahead, Corey.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Tom, you hit so many things that have like completely like confirmed the path that I'm on over the last year or so. I can't even get into it in this episode. It would take too long, but I would plead with you that we could have a conversation offline.
We'll go again sometime. Let's go again sometime.
I mean,
I think people need to hear what
soon.
you have to say, so let's do it. Yeah, if that works.
Yeah, there's an event we're putting together that like completely aligns with the things you're talking about. That I think it would be wise if we had this maybe like a 15 or 20 minute private conversation.
Sure.
Give you a little bit of background.
Okay.
The way some things have unfolded, and I'm 100% certain you are to be part of this.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I really don't have a lot of input to give on this right now, other than, you know, especially the way you wrapped up. You know, I just sent Veronica a text, I believe it was yesterday, just talking about what we are up against is this vibration of fear. And it comes at us in so many ways, be it music, video, the subliminal frequencies within the devices that we use. So the event we're putting together is a complete 100% effective weapon against all those things that are coming against us. So I'll just leave it at that for now. We are putting together an event that will.
I'm intrigued. I think this is great.
Yeah.
What timing? I mean, the timing's always lining up now. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, 100%, brother. So
Another show. Yeah, as well. Sorry, Corey.
okay.
Let's do it. I think it's great. It is a time to be dynamic and to speak out and not be polite about it. Let's be dynamic, forthright, vibrant. Kids respond to that, and they want to be rescued. A lot of these kids, they want to be rescued, and some of them don't even see the light of day yet, and they know that there's a better world. I knew that when I was going through my situation. I knew that there's a better way because it's inside of us. We're born that way.
Yeah, Corey helps.
I love it. Yeah, let's be vibrant. Let's do it. I love it.
Thank you, Tom. Corey helps a lot of the young kids, and it's called Rap Fiend. And how did your concert go, Corey? Because you had a 3-day event, right?
Yeah, it was boy, it's a long answer. It was a complete energetic attack the entire weekend. However, we did have a positive. We were sponsors of a big music festival, and pretty much every little element that could have gone wrong, that would have been fruitful to like the financial aspect of our company, went wrong like a domino effect. However, it was a real positive weekend. A lot of lessons were learned, and we were connected to a lot of the right people. So remember, my brand is Squatlife. It's a national campaign. Squatlife or no life, whatever life gets you down, get strong, stand up, and move forward, and help those around you as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So as far as building the Squatlife brand and getting in tune with the mission that we're on, it was wonderful. It was fantastic. It was awesome. And the real lesson learned was that beyond what we can control, we always have within our control of how we respond to things that come against us. So keeping a level head, getting back to that higher vibrational way of thinking, treating your neighbor, treating the people around you, and like just making sure the spirit snipers and those things that come against you on an energetic level have no power to realign with the higher vibrational force we've talked about so many times, Vero. So, just in the materialistic world, it was a disastrous weekend, but in the energetic world and the mission that we're on, it was very eye-opening, and it lets me know that we are 100% on the right track. Mm-hmm. And the meeting with Tom is like so profound. I'm almost at a loss for words, because so many things that he said today completely are bullseyes for the notes, the meditations that I've had over the last 48 hours. So it's profound, it's big, and we're going to have an event that really rocks this world and changes the face of history big time. I'm 100% certain of that.
Yeah, totally agree. Very cool.
So it's music, it's vibration, it's love, it's like forgiveness. And it really is, like you said, like eliminating this crap about skin color separation.
Oh God, yeah.
That's what gives us so much power. We really truly come together as brothers and sisters. That gives us power. And that does make us enemies. I realize that.
That's
well.
Right.
Like makes us enemies of the powers that be.
Tactic of the elite, the big tactic of the elite: divide, isolate, conquer, turn you against each other, buy you off, set you up, stage things. That's it. And another thing that's really going to help too is vibrancy. Let's be vibrant beings. Let's celebrate life. If I can celebrate life, everything happened to me, and like it happened to you guys, if we can celebrate life, people respond to that. They want to be happy. They want to be at peace. They want to be celebrating. They want a beautiful world. They want a happy world. It's like we can be happy. We choose to be. And if we can be so after all the things that happen to each of us, then I think we're setting a standard. We're saying, look, it's okay. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrate life. And if you've lost loved ones, be that in their memory. Celebrate and lift in their memory. Celebrate as they're right by you, celebrating with you. Lift them. And they can never bring us down. They can never crush our spirit.
Yeah, and Vera, do we have time to get into the head injury that I experienced? All right, then September 17th of 2020, I took a 75-pound steel beam at full force directly between my eyes. My soul brother, Paul, on the West Coast, this is in the Chicagoland area where it happened, had a vision at the moment that happened. There was a massive energy transfer that happened that happened to me, whereas a huge amount of negative energy let go, and this golden, powerful energy just like supercharged my body. Now, the year or so that followed was kind of rough. It totally realigned and reset a lot of my thinking patterns. It unleashed some very powerful creative thought, and it put me on a different plane and put me in touch with so many people in the music and entertainment industry. And it really showed me the power that realm has. Music is vibration. Obviously, everything's vibration. But music is a very easy to identify vibration where you can hit so many components of communication at one time. Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm sure everybody talking here has had some type of near-death experience, and that was such a wild, pivotal point in my life that really changed direction and kind of stripped me down to like a new beginning. And the mission or path that I'm on now is so powerful, and I'm just 100% certain that our meeting is going to lead to so many good and powerful things that it's going to take like a little bit of articulation to put this plan in place. And I know you're the type of mind that can plug into this thing and help, at minimum offer guidance, and at maximum be part of this thing and really make a dent into this negative attack that's coming against our culture.
I love it. I love it a lot. And what you said too about music, it's like the songs, what I was given when I did this thing, the script just came through, and then the music just came through. It was one take on the piano, a 4-hand piece with my friend Alan Grace and I. That's why they have a counselor named Grace in the Matrix, by the way. So it's like Alan Grace and I are doing this thing together. We just synced up, did it, 2 minutes exactly, and it has the layers. And what's interesting is each layer has a component to tell. So music is the perfect instrument to teach layers, layered feeling,
Yes.
thinking. We feel those layers, we think those layers. In music, we do that. And if it can come in the layers where it's not just like piece together one thing at a time, but comes as a layered creation, it becomes perfectly balanced and meshed as it's born. And that speaks a language where people think of imagery while they hear it, and it'll be usually the same imagery, even across cultural bounds, where they'll say, okay, I see this same kind of imagery. That is what's really cool. And then you match that up with the scenes in a film. So the thing is that, yeah, that's why I was saying about free meter, you know, not having any kind of meter to it, you know, then you have the best possible way to, you're not restricting your feeling as you create the piece with feeling. And it's like the layers of that music tell a story. The lower sounds is saying, giving a hint about what's actually going on. The upper sounds give that peaceful thing of what can be. And then that middle part is playing too what's actually going on. And it's all meshed at the same time, and our minds can handle it, and kids can handle it even better than we who've been conditioned to one way.
And these younger generations.
The song Yanni stole?
Yes. Oh my God. That's it. I'm glad you said that. That piece that went in that was used is exactly in Yanni. Right at the same time, that's right. For Warner Brothers label. Thanks a lot, Yanni. Thanks a lot. We're there to pick it up too. Might as well steal the music too. That's why you're right. That's why they're concerned about the music too. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Chad,
I love to be part of this thing. Yeah, I love to do this. But go ahead.
Yes. Chad, you want to go next? And then we'll have, because I know you have to go back to work, and then we'll do Rubberstarlet, and then I'll talk a little bit, and we'll have Tom talk a little bit more, and then we'll be done. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like one of the things too, like my favorite instrument on the planet, I believe, is the wind chime. And it's because it's so organic in wind, but it's not cacophony. It just has like, you know, it doesn't have, so when I'm doing music and stuff, sometimes you're right. Because it comes to me and I never aspired to it, it does follow different rhythms, and it does have different things to it. And each one has a different voice and a different era and a different tone. And it's not, they just come to me. Well, same thing with the writing that I want to do. I don't want to follow the Spielberg Jaws script that they teach you, and this is how it goes. You know, I can't do it. I don't even watch movies. I don't watch plays. I don't watch any of them. It just comes to me naturally in that sense. I can't watch them. Right. Even your movies, I couldn't watch just because I'd love to read the screen, but I could tell it was blasphemized. You know,
I'm the same way. It's like you're my brother. It's exactly what I came from. That's exactly the mindset I had. Exactly. Yeah. My favorite instrument, by the way, is the oboe. But I mean, for the anyway, go ahead. I love it.
That's lovely. But I always thought music was our fuel. You know, like it does get it across the planet. You know, and it is important.
Our superpower, along with love.
They didn't know what to do about music. They didn't know what to do. They tried to own that too, but they didn't know how to.
And I was joking with Veronica, please. I was telling her Tom is too straight and married to be gay and too gay to be CIA.
They say that I am,
because we were both like, what if he's CIA? And you were saying this, people are saying narcissist. I said, no, you can tell by his energy. You can feel it. You can just feel the energy. You can see the passion. If they cloned him, I would know it. You know, they can't come across.
So many gay friends, and it's like they pointed out to me, tell me you're the heterosexual male, whatever. But it's like, you know, they treat me like I'm their puppy, whatever. They're like, you know, a fun mascot to have around. But the thing is, like Robertson's group, that's why it drew them out. That the sex ring that was there, they called themselves militant gay. They said they're gonna trample upon the actual nice gay community by using militant gays. This Robertson's sex ring is militant gay. They actually said that to me on the trip, and that they were using the church because church is supposed to be about love. Well, they're hurting my friends in the business. Like Sova came to me and said, you're in theater, you had a beard at the time, therefore you must be gay. It's like, no, but I love my friends that are. They're amazing people. They really got manners and talent, and they're fun. And that's what I'm saying. That's how I knew the gay joke that Robertson gave when he said, like, Trump's wife's so beautiful, it turned a straight man gay. That's a gay joke. That's not a straight man joke. That's something a gay man says often. So it's like, and there's Robertson saying it, but it's the actually distinctions is made between militant gay and the other segment of society. The same thing happened in World War II. European Jews were considered lower than the outside European, certain European sections of Jewish population. So the Jewish population actually trampled what they considered a lower strata of Jewish. And that's what happened. Hitler was even part Jewish, and some of the people were part Jewish. And a lot of these people in here, they don't see themselves as that grouping as one big collective group. There's different strata. And so it's interesting that if you go that way, you can deconstruct this whole media thing where it's one ethnic group against another ethnic group. No, there's many strata to each group. I mean, look at the Caucasian. I don't like to fill out things on that front. You know, what am I, Caucasian? I also have African blood. You know, I got Jewish blood. I got all kinds of blood. I don't want that stupid denoting thing.
Right.
And so the thing is that, like, they say Caucasian. There's a lot of good guys that are lighter skin, pink, white, brown, and a lot of guys that are not. And it's like, how can you lap one into a group? Anyway, I could go on for hours on this. I'm glad you're doing this thing.
I love all this.
Yeah, and I would just like to add to that, there's no such thing as racism. There's hateful people and there's loving people.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
you're either a hateful person and evil, or you're a loving person and not. But racism, if you're racist and you really come across as racist, I usually find that as somebody that has self-hate and envy of others.
That's right.
But,
that goes for the gay community too. Like,
but there's no such thing as racism. It's made up. And
it's right. And there's a racism against like gays and stuff.
Evil people and good people.
Yeah. It's like you have this militant thing going on, and then you got these beautiful people that are just, I love them to death. They're some of my dearest friends. Why should we be stratified on this kind of thing? Why should we be, you know? And so one of the things they did with the attorneys from Warner Bros., they put pictures of me doing cabaret, the lead MC in cabaret, using me in drag, which is part of the role. That's me doing a role. And they're trying to show that because they know the Robertson situations. So Robertson wants to put that out there. It's like, I do my role, you know, it's like, fine. But the thing is, like, yeah, I'm excited where this new world's coming. It's going to be fantastic. And like I'm saying, we can defeat the stadium plan. They think simply. We can short wire their stadium plan. So let's do it. Let's demand
it is going to fail. It will fail.
Demand they all get stocked.
Yep.
You know? And I have somebody that works at stadiums, and she said that they are stocked for games with tons of stuff, industrial refrigerators. So there is supposed to be food there. If it's not, you pre-planned it to be that way. So let's know what's coming. Why the stadium train station? Let's get the word out there about that too. Look forward to doing your thing, Corey. Love the idea of the music. Let's keep doing music. Encourage kids that nothing. One thing I want to share real quick, and I'll shut up. I don't want kids to hear this. What Warner Bros. Said to me, or Disney said on the phone to me through contacts. Everything's been done under the sun. No, it hasn't. The best is yet to come. Because
that's also in the BIBLE.
People are discovering layers. It's like they've been playing on a little child's piano like this. And now we've got a fuel set of like keys behind me. Layered thinking allows us to create things way beyond ever been done because the industry's been owned by one layered people. So now watch what happens. You bet I got 15 better, and so do a whole bunch of us out there.
Yes, we
and
do.
When we form studios and we come together with a think tank, you watch us take the scene and you watch us drive it home, and the world will never get boring. And you guys are not invited to the party out there that trafficked kids and had these positions. You're not invited. You can go have your own little party.
Exactly.
So we are going to take this world by storm. We're going to make it happen. We have gone through the fire. We've been groomed. I was selected by the other side to be the top guy. I said, no, I'm going to be one of the guys with all these other great people that are talented, layered, and we're going to forge a better world. And that's what's happening. We do it through the art, whisper through art, and now we're going to take it home. I am so excited about the future.
Me too. Thank you, Tom. Rubberstarlet. Anything else, Mama?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on. Let me do the thingy-majiggy. Okay. Hi, everyone. Let me plug in my other thingy. Okay. Okay, so Tom, when you were talking about the Hollywood crap,
yeah, that's what it is.
It made a lot of sense because my dad had a upholstery business in Burbank, and so he had like small connections to like film studios. Like we did stuff for Fear Factor, some stuff for Warner Brothers, and like small commercials and stuff.
Right.
And so I was able to see all the bullshit, and it drove me like insane how people couldn't pick up on that, like all the sex, drugs and stuff that's obvious. And I remember warning people, and it's just, they can't see it. And so I didn't have a language for it at the time, like, you know, seeing stuff and connecting the dots. I call it the blueprint. like seeing someone else's script or blueprint. And I love how you mentioned music. And I started like, while you're all talking, thinking about how like I can't listen to current music anymore. It's like literally trash.
No.
And movies now are trash.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's space trash. That's what I call it. My passive aggressiveness. And people say, oh, you're so judgmental. And I'm like, probably, yeah. Or they'll call me a Nazi. So I'm like, okay, well, guess I'm a Nazi. My inner Red Skull, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the conversation y'all guys had to share. I love it.
Drives the other side crazy. They don't like it at all. We're not supposed to have even a word out here. It's supposed to be their word only. They own the
Yeah.
6 corporations. And maybe.
And I remember being, I'm trying to remember the conversation because this is like 2 hours, the recording. I remember them wanting to send me to like special schools and stuff because I would have like a blabbermouth, and I started remembering like being put in a closet, having to do a bunch of standards, always going to the principal's office. But Tom, you reminded me of my dad for a little bit because he always had my back, and he wasn't about to let people like control me or make me feel like ugly or stupid, you know? Sounds great. Like I love how I had that support from my dad. But then I started feeling bad because he did not have that at all growing up. And yeah, I love this. I don't know what else to say. Like I'm just like,
that's fine. You said it.
to like listen to everything.
I'm just glad you're here.
Believe me, it's refreshing to hear you talk the way you do, because I'm used to the Hollywood crowds talking the way they do. And there's nothing more boring on earth than a Hollywood LA guy talking, who's the standard LA guy. And it's just like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about what you did with the lady, and I don't care about what you look like, and I don't care about your car being washed, and I don't care about your plans to screenplay.
Exactly.
You only have one sentence for, but it's a great idea and you want me to tell me about it. I want to hear it.
It kind of sounds like cop talk too. Like, do I really have to hear this story again, LT?
Yeah, seriously.
No.
You could line up 100 guys like this and they'd all say the same thing in the same way. And it's all about me. And they call me egotistical. No, actually, we're the ones with compassion. This is a group of compassion, and I can see it. And that is what's going to take our world by storm, because they understand it. Yeah, you see a lot of things in our eyes. You look at our eyes, you'll see a lot of things. That's what we're attacking now. There's a lot of feeling there. It's all positive. You guys can't read it out there that are trolls because you don't understand that. And that's okay. I'm not going to educate you guys out there, but I'm going to deal with the people that actually get it. Right. And that's what I said too. I said my circle is now going to be those that have the heart, compassion, discipline, talent, just like I meant in the original screenplay to draw together. That's who I'm going to spend my time on. I'm not going to waste my time with people that are going to troll and things. Or flake. I don't have time. And that's one of the latest thing they've said too. They said, prove it to me, prove I'm wrong. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take the time. I'm not giving you guys free discovery. I'm not going to go ahead and say stuff to you just to take up my time, because that's your job. I'm going to spend it on a documentary and bring it out mass style and try to save a whole bunch of children in the whole world. I'm not going to spend it on individuals that are just trying to take you down anyway. So that's one of the tactics to be very aware of. They'll send people your way to take up your time. The more they string you along, that's their job. And so what you do is you do documentaries, you do the work, and you make it out there. And Chad, you had a question at the very beginning. And it was about, you know, how to protect your work. I think something was heading that direction. Yes. After your work, you make it yourself or with people you trust. You put it out there first, even if it's in stick figures. Put it out there first, and you have made it first. That's the deal. You made it first. Don't trust the Copyright Office. In fact, make it first, put it out there, and then get it copyrighted.
Thank you, because I do have some writings that I want to put out, even if it's not a whole book, because I've been talking about so many things, and even my visions that I have. And I know people have stolen some of my work and put it under their, you know, their books in the Secret Space program. They won't even give you credit. You know, I make sure that I give everybody credit. If I learn something from, like, say, Chad or, you know, Corey or whoever, or you, or, you know, Rubberstarlet, I'm going to give them credit when I make my videos. So real quick, before we go on, in March of 2019, I couldn't sleep that day. It was when the whole pandemic happened. And I saw a vision of, you know, an AI strand coming on the corona or crown of people's heads. And that also connected to the fake news, the memes, you know, social media, to bring about fear. And I told everybody, this is what's going to happen.
What did it look like? What did the crown look like?
The crown, it was just a seat, like the seat of the entendimiento, the understanding. It was just a chair, like a chair on top of people's heads, like a circle, like kind of like yellowish circle, but along with the black DNA strand of artificial intelligence and fear. So then I said, this is, guys, this is fake shenanigans. I said, boots on the ground was my next vision that day. And I saw boots on the ground everywhere, these vehicles aligned, they were handing over a white piece of paper to the military. And only those that had the white piece of paper, which is, you know what, the baby Jabberwocky, could be out in public. Then I had another vision just 3 days ago, Tom, I believe when we talked, or 4 days ago when we talked, 3 or 4. And I was in Ukraine. And there was these military ships falling from the sky. Ships that I had never seen before, because I've seen many ships, okay, in my lifetime. And I was telling everybody, don't you see these things are falling from the skies? There's a war going on up there. Why do you think there's the cloud technology, you know? And people were fighting left and right. And then all of a sudden, we get captured, me and other children and kids. You know, I was already my age that I am right now. It's present time. Right. And this man, he was dressed in a tan uniform. He had black hair. He had on those green berets, but instead of green, it was tan. And what I found interesting was on his patch. You know what it was? It was an egg shape, but with a little thing pointing to the top, brass color. That's all he had in his uniform. And he said, you know, Veronica, I got to keep you here with the rest of the kids because you know, we got to keep you. And I said, no, you're not going to keep me, sir. I'm leaving. And somehow I escaped. I got out and I was telling everybody, you know, this is what's going down. It's the FEMA camps. You know, the Walmarts are owned by federal. Come on. Every time you go into the Walmart, don't you get that feeling where everyone is watching you through the AI systems, China, right? And they have all these, now they have, the walls are painted like bluish, kind of like, reminds me of the hospitals where they had us when we were kids, the sleep rooms, okay? And then the other vision that I had was that I've had many visions where we are in stadiums outside and we are playing music, we're warning the people. We're all in the line, you, Chad, you know, Corey, all you guys, all my SSP brothers and sisters, starseeds, we're all lined up. We're talking to masses and masses of people. You know, and so it's like they want to take you guys to these certain stadiums to not only get rid of you, euthanize you, right? Kill you off, just like with the Holocaust. What did they do in the chambers, right? Right. Lie to you. You know, you guys are watching the fake news on TV still. Don't do it. And the other vision that I had was a major one. Major, is that we are helping these people that are in yellow buses and they are in orange jumpsuits. And I'm just in a regular suit with my friends and we're helping them. And they bring them down to the Mexican border and they say, one of them jumps out. She's an old friend of mine and she pops in there and she says, are you going to remember me? Are you going to come back for me? I said, yes, I'm going to go back for you and the children and whoever else is locked up. I'm going for you. I'm getting my team ready. So then there's another scene where there's a flood. Okay, these elephants, these tigers, people, children, everybody, man, they're coming out of the water and we're helping them save them. We put them in a ship. There's these screens, huge screens, and people are being sat down to let them know what the next thing is. And then I go up to the top deck and then guess what? There's Hillary Clinton in catatonic stage along with the other a-holes, you know, in the politics. And they're in the catatonic stage, and I have my daughter. She's
ones that have been tribuned.
Yeah, she hands me a red dot, you know, and it's like a red thing that I blast them off. It's like a button, blast them off, and they leave from that space, from the spaceship that we're in. I send them somewhere else, okay? And then the next scene is we're somewhere, huh?
You deep space them.
Yeah, I deep space them. And then, sorry, I'm so passionate about this. And then the next scene is we're in Mexico somewhere and there's arcs in the restaurant. We have food up the yin yang, all kinds of food. There's, you know, the men are taking care of the men, the women are, you know, we're feeding the children, the women, and we're getting all together for our next plan. So this stuff is real.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, the end of the screenplay has the I was just reading it.
thank you.
It reads, the very last pages say that what is it here? Oh, where is it? One second. Oh, it says wait. No, shoot, Tom. Anyway, it's about there's machines falling from the sky. And so that was like, you know.
Oh, so you saw the machines falling from the sky too?
Screenplay and the visions I saw. I just had it and it just like disappeared.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's right here. I was gonna read it to you.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Where's the dome thing? Okay, here it goes.
Go ahead.
Everywhere machines fall from the sky in flames or grind to a halt on the ground as the blue images of victims' faces cease. The ground tremors stop. It's right there. Yeah. They fall from the sky. Another entry. Short life. The little girl with a doll watched through barbed wire as the machines fall from the sky in streamers of fire. The glow of the distant fires is on her face. One machine crashes nearby, igniting trees in a furious blaze. Yeah.
Wow. You know, you mentioned a little girl. In one of my visions, there's these military people dressed in green, and they're taking these kids, and there's one little girl that has a little lamb with her. And I'm running away from there because I'm like, this is my first memory ever in 2017 that when I came to know that I was involved with these programs, I was running. I'm like, I don't want them to take me. Was I the one taking the kids or was I the one being taken? Well, guess what? This NAZI, DOD, CIA, they had us as super soldiers take the kids.
That's right.
And do
That's
awful things. And now that we're awakened, they can't use us anymore for their stupid games. No more Star Wars, no more Labyrinth Group, no more Sir, no more Heart. F you all. Because they're all part of this, oh, we got to save Mother Earth. And no.
What we need is more.
Getting their own army ready.
That's right. We need people to say no to the offers. And that's hard, I know. Our weakest links get bought all the time, and our families, everything else, when we're worth so much to them, so much monetary or idea-wise, ideology-wise. So it's like we need people to say no. I mean, it seems like people will say that right up front, go, I'm with you 100%. I've heard this so many times. 100%, we're going to stand 100%. And then they get bought next, they're sporting off this brand new car with all the works on and have a beach home. So it's like and the argument on the other side is this, you might as well know the playbook totally. It's they say, do this for your family, think of your family. And people take the rewards and they figure it's only, the good of the many outweighs the few. So they figure that they're going to go ahead and destroy good people doing good things, actual right people, in order to have these rewards for their family. And in Game of Thrones, they run it too, that every person that's been successful or made it at the top, like the city of Perth, did it through bad means, but then the ends justify the means. You can be nice after you get that success, but to get there, you got to be mean and cruel. That's the Warner Bros. Agenda to put it out there, including the government agencies that work with them, to convince us that we're all dark and bad and evil. And so that's why these stadiums, again, they want the people, they're going to kill them by having them turn on each other through lack of provisions. They're going to want them to turn on each other to try to have their families survive, fight over scraps of food and each other. So that's what they're planning to do. And then say, look, they're all bad. Yep. That's the plan. They want that to be a lesson that anyone who's not them is of a lower class, is of undesirable nature, is actually a beast when it comes down to it. They call it the lizard mentality inside.
Okay, I'll say that I don't believe humans have that in them, and we're not that. But the AI, the background people, I'm a little concerned about. The narcissists, I don't know who they are and how they're going to react during this, because they may do that. But during 9/11, all those different things, nobody reacted like they thought they were going to. Not the humans.
That's what's interesting too.
So I don't think we're going to react and respond like they're expecting. But
well, that's the thing.
They don't about the background people.
You're right. You got a drawing of people who brought people into position, had other people come into position. They test you. They ask you questions. Robertson did this with me. They asked me questions like, how would you deal with the Better Business Bureau asking for our records? And there's a right answer they have in mind and a wrong answer they have in mind. I gave the wrong answer. I said, when he's grooming me for the Face of Christian Coalition, I said, well, you've nothing to hide. Just give me your records. Wrong answer. What the right answer was supposed to be, according to them, right answer for me, wrong for them, is the right answer for them is we answer to God, God's authority, earth, or God's authority on earth. So we only answer to God only. So therefore we'll never give you our records. We can do whatever we want because it's for God's glory. What?
Which God?
Yeah, really, seriously. I just watched a tape with Pat Robertson talking about the laws of reciprocity. He keeps talking about it. It's amazing because he actually believes that he can control God. He says that God is bound by his own laws. That he on there saying it. So it sounds like we're going to use God, forget our means, but you got to just forget that. He's actually on a tape basically saying that. And he goes like, this is God's law. He's bound by it. Jesus said it. So it's like, if you give, then he has to give you 100-fold back. So if you give to my ministry, you'll get 100-fold back. And that's God has to obey that law.
Right.
God's not bound by Robertson. But that's the plan, is to have enough power up the man-made mountain. And keep in mind, they're imitating Nostradamus. The third will rise by the man-made mountain. He wants to be that third Antichrist. He says in his own Pat Robertson's perspective newsletter that evangelicals are the dumbest demographic in the US. And so he actually says that to his own people to show they're dumb, basically. Puts it in plain sight, his own perspective. And so basically he's saying, he's using that demographic to be God. He's gonna fake, they're gonna fake the return of God, have the skies turn red. That's why it's in the Matrix in this piece. And then this trumpet sound, simulate the trumpet sounds, yeah. And then have this figure special effects with Hollywood coming down, where people are gonna see it televised from the man-made mountain.
Yes.
Right, man-made mountain. He's a man-made mountain on his property, by his property, Mount
With
Transport.
angels, remember that, because in the
Yeah.
Bible, he comes in with angels and trumpeting. So
So that's what they're gonna do, those special effects, to get enough power to do it. He interviews Christ, and Christ is gonna say, you rule in my stead. That's why he named his school Regent University, rule in place of God. Changed it from CBN University when I was there. This is the plan they have. And they think what they're doing is doing my ending. And they believe it's going to work. So now they have the sound effects that happened over just after Passover or something in Jerusalem, where they heard that they saw the sky turning red and they saw the trumpet sounds. They heard it. They gave a test run, a tech run.
This was
a tech run. And now Robertson's saying he's going to do it in Jerusalem, in the mountain on Jerusalem. And he's going to go bigger now. What? Because I said he's going to do it on the man-made mountain in Virginia Beach? Yeah. And what did Rappaport say? I said that guy in California? He's claiming my stuff because they want to channel it through him. And they're not just stealing the intellectual property here. They're actually stealing the ideas in it that I had and giving that clown the credit, while Elon Musk gets the credit for the tech I have. And keep in mind, Surrey, right? Surrey is integral to the story. That whole thing back in 1989 was going in there. In Surrey, what you have is the idea that our main character is so devastated after the loss of his wife that he's reprogrammed his house and everything to be her voice and to work and sound like her. And so he even says, channels such and such parameters. And she says, okay, Jim, and puts it on. And so it's like what you have is you have Surrey. All the tech's there. Everything's there.
Yeah, a bunch of,
Anyway, I've talked too much. I talked too much.
No, it's okay. A bunch of prime ministers, Canada, Italy, the United States, all the countries you can think of, except for China, had a meeting in 1950 at Dartmouth University about how to create the PDRs of people, how to sell them on the stock market, how to, supposedly get the best technology. But then here is China, and then now the US is still playing that game with them.
Well, what's happening too? They can't figure out our minds. All of us here right here, they can't figure out how we think and we feel. We think in many different layers and many different abilities. We're very, very creative. They can't top that. It drives them crazy. They actually come up all the time and say, we're fans of your work. They cannot figure it out. So it makes them feel a little bit less. They don't like that. They try to take our work, but they don't understand it. The Wachowskis, they said, didn't understand it on set. They were so angry because they didn't understand it. That's why the guy from the story department said, they put all your stats in there, high school, birthday, all that's in there, your dad's name, everything's in there, because they want to be more clever than the author. Why did Mike Lang take the wife to bed? He wants to be better than the author. The thing is, they can't handle us. They can't fathom our minds and the ability that we have to create. So they say that we're their star players, right? They'll say that about us. But the thing is that the AI thing is going off the table a little bit because they don't know how to even match us.
Right.
We outwit them all the way. Like I said, they said we won the chess game. So the good thing is they are fans of the work. They're fans of what you all do. So Chad, I look forward to your screenplay coming out and the things you're bringing forward, the courage to come forward and do what you're doing, the event you have coming. And I hear more about you too. So it's like, this is really cool. They are blown away by our interrelating what we do, that now when they tap phones, instead of doing the echoes too much and cutting off the phone calls, they're actually listening in. We'll hear their voices on the phone. AT&T is owned by Warner Brothers. They're mega monopolies.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are owned by Warner Brothers.
Anyway, I talked way too much. We'll do a part 2 of something. I'll look forward to the event thing. I'm going to stop talking because I've just gone way too much. But anyway, I love
this. I do. We're going to have another show if you don't mind, Tom.
I would love to do it, but yeah, I'm going to let you guys talk a little more. Yeah, you tapped the passion. I'm like, I am so excited to share with you guys. You're my kind of people.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm excited to talk.
I
No,
love you,
there's
Tom.
others of us that couldn't make it that you would love to meet as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
That
That'd be
wanted
great.
to be
Yeah.
here too.
That'd be
Yeah.
We're
cool.
gonna have a
Beyond.
Super
They're
Soldier
amazing.
Start.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. Sorry, we're gonna have a Super Soldier Starseed roundtable on this same channel, Codebreaker Real Talk, at 3 p.m. Tuesday coming up. What is that? The 28th or something? So that if you'd like to be on too, Tom, and then we can also do another show again just with you and whoever else wants to be on, if that's okay. Real quick before we go, I would like for you, Tom, first to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if you have a channel or a website, and then we'll go with Chad, Corey, and then Rubberstarlet. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be real short. redpillrising.org. We called it Red Pill Rising because the inside actually said, you know, call it this. And so I went ahead and I thought that was kind of clever, just go ahead and use it. But now I'm going to change it to Blue Pill. Anyway, so that's how you know, like I said, people have joined the movement. When they say Blue Pill, you know they woke up. That's waking up. So that means you've got it. If you say I'm Blue Pilled, wear that with pride. That is the Blue Pill. You've got it. Red Pill was stolen. Okay, so there we go. Redpillrising.org. That's where you can see it if you can get through to it. If it says virus alert, there is none. That's just them trying to scare you away. And so, but there you'll see a lot of the original graphics and everything else. Also on Facebook, on Twitter, Tom Althouse on Facebook. We're actually maxed out now at 5,000, which is really cool because they always, you know, try to take the people away and have people coming inside to try to talk them away. But whatever, it's not working so well anymore. We're actually turning the thing around. So yeah, so you can send messages to that too. You have my email too if you want. 77 the True Man Show, the True Man Show,
Man show.
Yeah, the True Man Show at gmail.com. So yeah, there you go. So next, cool.
You're on Twitter and Instagram as well, right, Tom?
Instagram, I got to get that going better. Yeah, Instagram is kind of like a cricket's world, but yeah, you get that happening. Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, so Chad and then Corey and then Rubberstarlet.
Okay, I can be reached on Instagram. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So nice and sweet.
Are you still on Facebook, Chad?
Am I on no, I'm not. Well, I'm on Facebook, but I don't check that thing. And I don't respond on it too much. Yeah, I'm gonna get this T-shirt that says 1 in 10 people eat people, and I'm gonna put that on as my Facebook profile next.
That has more truth than we can even begin to discuss.
Yeah. I want to see people ask me about that T-shirt.
That's something that hit home. That's another topic too.
Say it again, Chad. What's your T-shirt gonna say?
1 in 10 people eat people.
Your research, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
Corey. Next. Thank you, Chad. Corey, where can you be reached, please?
You can just Google Corey Miceli, CoreyMiceli. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I'm happy to give them my phone number too. It's 360-939-7652. 360-939-7652. We've got the new Squatlife website dropping here in another week or so. We'll talk about that at the right time. But man, we got a lot of good stuff in the works. And today's meeting was just absolutely like pre-written. It was meant to be. Destiny unfolding.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Corey.
Yep, and I'm going to run. I've got a couple clients waiting on me. I love you guys. I really appreciate you so much. Vera, I will be, if you do have time to call me a little bit, I'll be able to pick up. So I'll be around. Okay. Much love, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Corey.
Miss Rubberstarlet, how can they get a hold of you and what's happening in your world?
Oh gosh, I'm on the spot and I hate it. Instagram. I'm having a brain fart. Veronica, what's my Instagram? Is it Rubberstarlet? I don't even know.
Rubberstarlet.
I love how it's so sex kitten.
I know.
They're like, Rubberstarlet. What kind of hoe do you have on here? We're not going to take that seriously.
We're not going to take it, right? No, we ain't going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. Come on, guys. Thank you. Okay, and what else? Anything else, guys, before we sign up? We're done? Okay.
Yeah, right. It's like we're on the Brady Bunch. I love it.
I know. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will upload this video as soon as it's done converting. I am Veronica Bartolini again with all my friends and family here on CodeBreakerRealTalk. I love you guys all. Google my name, you'll find me. You'll find me somewhere. Love you guys. Bye.